There is no truth to the rumor that fans began lining up for tickets in August when the IHSA announced that 10-time state champion Mount Carmel and the defending state champs, the Lincolnway East, would both be playing in Class 8A. But tonight, 10,000 high school football fans have come to Frankfort to watch the Caravan and Griffins clash in the state semifinals. And hi again, everybody. I'm Dave Bernhard, along with Jack McInerney, and we have waited a long time for this. But, Jack, as long as we've waited, and as much as I have thought about this, I can't pick a winner. I can't even come close to picking a winner in this one.
Well, if you had a coin in your pocket, you could toss and come up with a heads or a tail. That's about where it's at. The only difference right at this point is the color of their uniforms. All statistics are basically the same. Personnel is about the same as far as who's the keys to their teams. And this is one of the greatest matches of high school football I've seen in many a year.
And the winner of this game gets to play on the big stage down at Memorial Stadium at the University of Illinois. Here is the road to Champaign for these two clubs. First of all, for Mount Carmel, they defeated Downers Grove North handily and then ran through the DuPage Valley Conference. Naperville North falling 35-7, and then most recently last week a 28-7 win over Naperville Central. Tim Brown, a big day in that one, 150 yards and a couple of touchdowns. For Lincolnway East, they started out tough ball game against Lions, a game they trailed twice before hammering Marion Catholic. And then in the mud in Bolingbrook, a 19-13 win in a game that the Griffins trailed 13-3 in the third quarter before taking advantage of a fumble recovery in the end zone to win that ball game and get themselves here in the state semifinals. Great teams have great players. For the Mount Carmel Caravan, they are led by a young man who has just powered them right through. He's the quarterback, Carter Kopak.
Well, he's the catalyst to this veer option offense that Mount Carmel runs. He runs and throws the ball, but he's the key to keep the poise in the team. He's the senior leadership on offense.
Well, if you flip it on the defensive side, there's leadership, and not just leadership. There's an awfully great linebacker. That's Mark Oliver.
Well, he's also a 3-year starter, so he has veteran experience for them. He's been a 3-year starter. He's a captain of the team, leads them in tackles. He is the quarterback on the defense. He's the one that needs to keep them at home with this vaunted misdirection offense that Lincolnway East runs.
Well, speaking of that offense, one of the people that run that misdirection is our featured offensive player for the Griffins, and that's Andy Garrettson.
Well, he's a special kind of player. He's a leading rusher. He's a leading pass receiver. He's been here last year. He did it all last year, and they're expecting him to do it all again tonight.
You love to have those seniors in your starting lineup in the semifinals, and on the defensive side, John Olafson anchors that linebacking core.
Well, anytime you have somebody with a 31 on their ACT, you know he's pretty sharp. He leads the defense. He's a captain. He puts them in the right place for the right times in the right place. He'll be a special player tonight, or as he has been all season.
Tonight, manning our sidelines and joining us, Lee Turnbow and Mike Cameron. Lee will be handling the Lincolnway East sideline. Mike will be over in Mount Carmel. And Lee, these two teams, no strangers to big games.
Dave, you're exactly right. Big games, Mike. I'm telling you what, Mount Carmel and Frank Linney, they know about big games. 9 state championships for Frank Linney. He knows how to get his team ready for a big game.
That's right, Lee. Mount Carmel would be the last team to suffer stage fright. They live for big games. They were in the championship game last year. They've been on television 3 times this year.
Lincolnway East, on the other hand, they're in the midst of a 26-game winning streak, and they are the defending Class 8 state champs, Dave.
Well, we need to take a look at our Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers' keys to the game to see what we need to be looking for tonight. First of all, for the Caravan.
Well, they really need to make Lincolnway throw the ball. Their forte is running the ball, but if they force them to throw the ball, that might get them out of their game plan a little bit. And also, we have to make sure that they know that they're watching out for the misdirection, that they're keeping their responsibilities against Lincolnway.
Lincolnway East, the Griffins, they've been pointing for this game.
Well, they really have been. They have to continue to keep them off balance, keep Mount Carmel guessing, and the quarterback needs to throw for his normal average. He doesn't need to have a great game. He just needs to have a good game.
We have waited, how many months? 3, 4 months? We can wait no longer. It's time to get it going. Let's do it. It's the 8A semifinals in Frankfort. It's the Caravan from Mount Carmel and the Griffins from Lincolnway East. And we've got that kickoff coming up next.
When it comes to planning for the future, trust Country Insurance and Financial Services to keep you moving in the right direction. With down-to-earth, straightforward advice, Country Insurance and Financial Services is always there to keep you on the right path. Country. Real answers for real financial security. For your family, for you, for a lifetime.
This is our country.
Need a truck? Call the red, white, and blue fleet from Elite Truck Rental. Elite's loaded with trucks in all sizes ready to serve you. Plus, at Elite Truck, your reservations are guaranteed, you're in and out fast, and you always get a great price. So for your moving day, your business, or a quick pickup, it's a call and you're done. For your Elite Truck and your free moving guide, call 312-942-1001.
Call Elite Truck, 942-1001.
1 week from tonight, we will crown an 8A state champion. Already we know that Wheaton-Warrenville South will be playing that 8A title game, and it will be one of these two teams, either the Caravan or the Griffins. We welcome you back to Lincolnway East High School with Jack McInerney. I'm Dave Bernhard, and Jack, we were on the field for an hour before game time, and you could just feel this one is different.
Well, it was tough getting a parking space 2 hours before the game. That tells you something about the fans and what their expectations are for this ball game. The hype is everywhere. Not only in the newspapers, but here, it's just a buzz. It really is.
You know, if you take a look at these two teams, and through the course of the night, we'll be analyzing numbers right and left. If you take a look at these two teams, though they come from different conferences, they don't play each other during the regular season, they are so evenly matched. Forget about the records, but just flat-out stats, they're matched.
Absolutely. You know, we talked about this before. It's amazing that they both average 31 points a game. They both give up about 7.5 points per game. That's amazing statistics for two big schools, 8A schools, and in a rushing standpoint and scoring standpoint, it's exactly the same. Their stats are basically within 5 points of each other. It's amazing.
One of the reasons why these two teams are similar is the great conferences they play in. Lincolnway East, champions of the Southwest Suburban Blue Conference, and for Mount Carmel, a 5-1 record, matched St. Rita's record. And of course, you know all about St. Rita from the Chicago Catholic League Blue. They're going to be playing the 7A title game.
Well, you know, it's interesting. A lot of times people think that teams that get to this have played a weak schedule. The reason these two teams are here tonight is because they've both played a very tough schedule and have earned their way to get to this ball game.
It is a very crisp night here, 43 degrees. A little bit of a wind factor. That will be blowing from left to right. We're hoping that rain will stay away. But it is what you would want to be able to determine who gets to play downstate. The weather should not have any factor tonight, and after the weather we've gone through here in the last couple of weekends, this is truly a wonderful evening.
Well, not only that, but it's a great situation for a ball game like this because the elements won't be a big factor in the game. We're playing on a turf field, so it's an equal opportunity employee for both teams. Footing will not be a problem for either one of the teams. They both have great kicking games. This could come down to a key turnover in a key situation. I mean, it's just an ideal setting for both teams.
Last night on MyTV 50, we had a game that went 34-31, went down to the last second. This one, I don't know that we're going to see that many points put on the board here tonight.
Well, don't talk too soon.
All right.
These teams are very explosive on both sides of the ball, but uniquely, as I say that, they both have great defenses. So, you know, it could be a 7-6 ball game. It could be a 35-34 game. I mean, we're in for a real evening of great football.
These two teams have earned their way here, and so have the men who will be calling this game. The officials for tonight's contest earned their way here by way of ratings from the coaches, by their merit throughout the entire season. And tonight, they will get an opportunity to be under the glare of the lights here at Lincolnway East, under live television audience, and about 10 to 12,000 people that are absolutely ringing this field. And here they are, Tim Fay, Jim Utterbach, James Cunningham, Gerald Feeney, and your referee tonight is Bill Lang.
It's a great crew for a great game.
Lincolnway East will get their hands on the ball first. Mount Carmel won the toss. They have deferred until the second half. Scott Sarrazin will kick this one off, and we're underway. And I don't know that we are underway because I don't know if that ball was completely ready for play because the flag is down.
Well, he might have kicked it before the official was ready for play. The ball went in the end zone, which wouldn't have been a run back, but I think they're going to re-kick it.
Okay, no penalty on the play, so we'll do it all over.
A little nerves on the team prior to this, a little ready to go. They're anxious to get going.
Well, you know, the special teams came out here tonight, about 45 minutes before game time, and it's just like you just can't get here fast enough. I mean, it's the final game that's being played in the state in this weekend of semifinal football. It's 7 o'clock kickoff, and boy, Saturday is an awfully long day when you go through that.
Well, not only that, but any other time or any other year, this would be the state championship game. And we have some great teams, but this is almost a state championship game. That's what a great matchup it is.
Mount Carmel moves up to Class 8A this year. Last year they lost a prospect in the state title game in 7A. Lincolnway East, defending state champs in Class 8A. 26 wins in a row. They have won 33 of their last 34 games. And here comes Saracen again. And he puts his foot into it, gets a little help from the wind. And this drive will start at the 20-yard line for Lincolnway East. Griffins come in with a 12-0 record. They come in with an offense that in some circles people have said, oh wait, this isn't really the powerhouse offense. However, Lincolnway has averaged 30.4 points per ball game, but they're going up against the Mount Carmel defense tonight and only allow 7.6 points per game.
Well, it'll be interesting because it's a great matchup, and it's a responsibility for both defenses because of the type of offenses that these teams run.
Get ready to watch the double wing offense in action here from Lincolnway East. Garrison is the left wing back, Dan Sebula is the right. He's got it right now, and Sebula is going to be dropped for a loss. A loss of about 4 on the tackle was Ron Newcomb. He's a 6'4", 235-pound senior, and here is that Lincolnway offensive line. It was Kyle Houlihan that had the fumble recovery in the end zone that really propelled the Griffins last week. Adam Geddes, big all-state tackle. Andrew Ramus is the quarterback. Sebula, Garrison, and Grunwald are your running backs. Keep an eye out for wide receiver Blake Hammond. First pass by Ramus. He's going to go deep down the field, and it's picked off, intercepted by Keith Lewis. Lewis to the 30, to the 25. Look out, he may be gone. A flag is down back at the 35-yard line.
I think that could be a clip, but Mount Carmel will still have possession of the football, but I think we have a clip on about the 34-yard line.
That was the 7th interception of the season thrown by Ramus, a 30-yard return by Lewis. Let's see how that will net out.
Now, Lewis was the safety, and he just really came underneath, and it turned into a double coverage. The ball was laid up a little too much, and the safety made a nice play on the ball.
They will bring this one back near the 40-yard line. So Andrew Ramus, and you had mentioned the keys to the game, have your normal game. And that was not part of the claim when you only throw 6 interceptions through the course of 12 games.
No, it's not, but right now,
there is your clipping call, and takes it back near midfield.
It doesn't turn out to be as bad as we originally suspected with that run back. Now they're at midfield. So that turnover is not how you want to start out your first possession, but it's not, the end result is not that bad at this point.
Quarterback is Carter Kopak. His backs behind him, Tim Brown and Kyle Parker. Kopak a master at running the option. And they will dive it up for a 3-yard pickup on first down.
Well, interestingly, this is the type of offense where they have great patience. They want 4 yards a carry. I mean, they'll bust a big one, but they will be patient, and they'll peck away at you with 4 and 5 yards a carry. It's not something where it's fancy, but it's very difficult to stop because of its consistency.
Eric Ramirez, number 23, into the game. He, along with Parker and Brown, will alternate at those 2 running back spots. About a 3-yard pickup, 2nd down and 7.
There's the option.
He dishes. There's a crease. On the move is Brown. He's inside the 20.
Now that play was made by the wide receiver doing a stalk block on the corner, and he created a running lane. It was just a great job downfield by the wide receiver on that block.
Arthur Ray is headed to Boston College. Anchors a very experienced offensive line after the 31-yard run to spring Tim Brown. You see Kyle Parker, Pat Jarvis, Dan Nibbs, wide receivers. Ron Newcomb, the tight end, goes both ways.
Now, initially, that play did not look like it was going to result in a big game, but there was a great block downfield by the wide receiver that gave the pitch back a nice lane to get downfield.
First down from the 15. Short gain. That is once again to Brown. Last week, Brown in the win against Naperville Central ran for over 150 yards, had an 83-yard kickoff return for a touchdown to boot.
And he's coming off the field here. He's a little gimpy.
They will bring in Parker. As we said, they will alternate all 3 of those backs, so Kyle Parker will enter in. None of these backs big. 5'9", 5'9". Parker stands at 5'7".
Mount Carmel takes nice splits up front as the offensive line, 2- and 3-foot splits, which spread out the defensive line for Lincolnway East.
Kopak wants to do it himself inside the 10. Kopak is near a first down. Carter Kopak on the season, rushing for a net of 443 yards. He scored 7 touchdowns.
Well, right here, there's just the linebacker overruns the play. You can see right now they pick off number 45, and Kopak, being a experienced quarterback, picks up that seam and gets inside. He's about a yard short of the first down. Smart play by him. He does not want to pitch the ball down in the red zone here, especially going on the short side of the field. He turns it up. He's got good size. He's 200 pounds, gets a nice run, and they're 1 yard short of a first down.
And Brown is back into the ball game for the Caravan. Just outside the 5, Kopak straight up the gut. And he should have enough as he's inside the 5-yard line. Went right behind his center, Eric Eck, his right guard, Tim Kavanaugh, and his left guard, Maurice Fulton.
Now, in this kind of an offense, you usually put your bigger linemen inside. Now, the center, Eric Eck, is 220 pounds. Fulton, the left guard, is 255 pounds. And the right guard, Tim Kavanaugh, is 270 pounds. So that's a lot of meat to run behind on a quarterback sneak.
Talking about a 27-pound difference between that offensive line and the front 4 of Lincolnway East. That's a big high school offensive line, averaging 262 pounds. First down and goal. Kopak again. This time, Lincolnway East defense will turn him back momentarily.
Now, this particular offense is very difficult inside a 10-yard line to defense because it's balanced. They have 2 tight ends in. Both backs are split. So you have a dive possibility on either side, plus you have the quarterback sneak. It's a balanced offense to run either side. It's very difficult to defend this. And most of the defense is done by the linebackers against an offense like this.
Second and goal from the 2. It's Ramirez and Brown in the backfield. Kopak to Ramirez. And a ball free in the end zone.
Wow. Looks like Lincolnway has it. They're signaling.
You'll get the best look right here. That ball popped out just before it got in, and the Griffins have it.
Wow.
Well, last week it was a fumble that Lincolnway East had into the end zone. They recovered it for a touchdown. They keep Mount Carmel out. We've had a great opening couple of minutes. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll catch our breath and keep rolling in the first quarter.
The IHSA football semifinals are brought to you in part by Chevy.
It only happens once a year. The Chevy Red Tag event. With the best deals of the season. The price on the tag is the price you'll pay. Now, 07 Chevy vehicles from Avail to Corvette Z06 come with the GM 100,000-mile warranty. Combined with roadside assistance and courtesy transportation, it's the best coverage in America. See some red, save some green.
Log on now to ChevyDriveChicago.com. Check us out today.
Monday, whether it's skiing, sledding, or snowboarding, we've got the best places for you to enjoy the snow.
Plus, our Monday morning quarterback, Tom Waddle, breaks down the Bears game. Monday, Fox News in the morning.
It looks like Mount Carmel's about to go in for the first touchdown of the ball game. As you can see, a simple dive right here. He looks like he's about to cross the goal line, but all of a sudden the football comes loose. Keep an eye on the legs right there. It's starting to come out. And it goes right between Tim Fay, the official's legs, into the end zone. So the fumble occurred before he crossed the goal line. Lincolnway East fell on it. Big turnover. Lincolnway East has the football.
We missed the first play after the fumble. That's Dan Sebula down. He gained about 3 yards, but he came out of the pile. He was the last one to try to roll out of the pile, and he was holding his lower left leg. You know, back to the fumble, that is one play. So let's take a look first at the Mount Carmel defense. We talked about Ron Newcomb with the play a moment ago, Ray Kennedy and Sidney Bazemore. Linebackers, look out, folks. You don't have 2 better ones than Mark Oliver and Stephen Filer. Filer could be the #1 recruit in Illinois next year. In the secondary, for the Caravan, you saw Keith Lewis pick off a pass moments ago. Keith Nunez, Victor Alvarez, and Antonio Vasquez. You know, back to Mount Carmel with that fumble. There is one negative statistic in their stat sheet. It's fumbles. They have fumbled the ball 26 times this year. They've lost 13.
In this kind of an offense, that can happen. So sometimes you got to take the good with the bad. And if I average 30 points a game and have 11 wins, I'll take those fumbles anytime.
It was 3-yard gain by Sebula. Up the middle, Grunwald, the fullback, and he'll only get about a yard. Dan Sebula, what a loss that would be. Second leading ground gainer for the Griffins. 137 carries, 722 yards, a 5.3 average from his right wingback position.
Well, it certainly will be because of this misdirection offense, but their fullback right there, they ran Jeff Grunwald up the middle at 220 pounds, and they want to keep the inside of Mount Carmel honest by keeping them the linebackers inside and not taking off for the off tackle and outside sweep plays that Lincolnway East runs with their misdirection offense.
Mike Betcher is the fullback right now, and we will see a single wing look, and Ramus to throw a second pass of the night. And that will make it 4th down and 5. So Ramus's 2 pass attempts, 1 intercepted, 2nd under pressure, and Ramus is down.
Ramus is down. He had a lot of pressure from Stephen Filer, the inside linebacker, 6'3", 215-pound junior that we talked about in the open. Probably one of the top linebacker recruits next year. He's only a junior. He has 68 tackles coming in today. He put a lot of pressure on Andrew Ramos.
Boy, when you take a look at that picture right there, and you think about Lincolnway East losing Dan Sebula, at least momentarily.
I think this is the wind being knocked out of him right here, because he lands. You tell your lineman, land right on top of that quarterback. That's how you really want to do it. It's not a dirty play, but I think he just got the wind knocked out of him because he's going to be getting up. The backup quarterback is a starting wide receiver. Blake Hammond at 6'5", 220 pounds is a different dimension that he would give them, but as you can see, he's coming off the field. I think he'll be fine. Just got the wind knocked out of him.
You know, even when taking a short drive, don't take chances. Remember, click it or ticket. This message brought to you by the Illinois Department of Transportation. Let's go down in the field, and sideline reporter Lee Turnbow.
Junior wingback Dan Sebula, number 13, a lower leg injury to his left leg. He didn't put any weight on it, and as he came off the field, training staff is working on him right now. Ramus just looked like the wind was knocked out of him. Like Jack said, I think he's going to go back in the ball game. Dave?
All right, thank you very much, Lee. We'll stay on top of that because obviously taking a man like Sebula out of the lineup, that is big for Lincolnway East. And we'll get our first punt of the night.
Not a good one.
It's near the 45. And the Caravan will have it near midfield where they had it on their last possession. With 6:21 to play here in the first quarter. 27-yard punt is all by Lynch.
Well, a game like this, you know, field position is so very, very important when you have two teams so evenly matched as we have this evening. And at this point, Mount Carmel has won the game of field position.
That defense has been unbelievable this year. How about a team for Lincolnway East through 12 games, average allowing only 33 yards rushing per game
against a great schedule.
Here's Kopak, senior quarterback. And the ball will go up the middle. It will go to Tim Brown, but talk about a team that runs their play fakes out. Kopak and Ramirez were running the option to the left side, and they were both tackled.
And that's exactly the way a defense coordinator teaches his people to play against the option. Don't worry where the ball is. You can tackle the quarterback as long as he fakes like that. Put him on the ground, put the pitch man on the ground. That takes those responsibilities instead of going with the fake. Take the people you are responsible for.
Short gain for Brown. The ball once again in East territory. Kopak's first pass of the night. And that is high and wide and deep. It will be third down.
A little bit of miscommunication there. Little combination route on the outside. The ball was well thrown. It was high, but it was well thrown. I think there was a miscommunication on the route.
Well, we've anticipated this for a long time because it's the first time that Mount Carmel and Lincolnway East have matched up. Of course, Lincolnway East only in their 6th year of existence. Now, Mount Carmel, they're looking to be the first school to play a championship game in classes 5, 6, 7, and 8 in 4 different classes. And yes, indeed, with 5:43 to play here in the first quarter, the Caravan have not had a point put on the board against them this season in the first quarter. Kopak needs 8. Over the middle he goes, and the ball is dropped by Newcomb. He was under heavy pressure that time. Rifle arm there by Kopak. We'll take a look at it.
Well, Ron Newcomb, who's a big-time receiver at 6'4", 235 pounds, a two-way player, is coming right over the middle underneath the linebackers. You can see the ball is just a little overthrown and out of his reach, but the linebackers came right up underneath him. Had he made the catch, I don't think he would have held on to it nor made much yardage after it.
Number 41 was Tom Lilja, 6 foot, 120-pound junior. He also plays some fullback. Probably will not play fullback tonight. A little bit gimpy tonight, but he's obviously needed defensively.
Newcomb's our punter. He plays both ways. He's an outside linebacker. He's a tight end. He is a MVP for Mount Carmel.
Well, he puts a pretty good foot into this one. Good decision made, and it will scoot into the end zone. Again, so many times you see Garrettson back there with the wise decision to let that one go following the 48-yard punt from Ron Newcomb. So once again, we start from the 20-yard line.
Well, Lincolnway is hoping that they get some sort of a drive out of this series. And if you do have to punt, let's move the ball down the field where we can punt into Mount Carmel's territory and put them in the hole for a wee bit.
Take a look at that bottom bullet point. The seniors have never lost a high school game here at Lincolnway East High School. Undefeated as freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. That's a 44-0 record. Back to the line of scrimmage just barely. All three Lincolnway possessions have started on the 20-yard line. By hook or by crook, a kickoff into the end zone, a fumble recovery into the end zone, and now a punt into the end zone as we take a look at the comparison. Offensive line, the front three, as Mount Carmel runs a 3-4. Not much difference there.
There really isn't, and Mount Carmel is quick up front. They might be a little bit smaller. Their linebackers make up for the difference with their quickness, but the defensive line is very good for Mount Carmel.
Without Sebula in the lineup, we're not seeing that double wing. Here comes the blitz, and lofting it for Hammond. He turned the wrong way, and the ball just floated outside of his head. Actually, it was Garrettson that was bursting out of the backfield for that one. But coming hard that time was number 44, Stephen Filer. Keep an eye on him. 6'3", 215 pounds, just a junior, but he could become one of the all-time Mount Carmel greats.
An interesting point for our folks at home, the linebackers for Mount Carmel are taught when those wings come out, give them a bang to throw the timing off, because they really are wide receivers just playing inside tight. And that's what happened there. The linebackers hit those wing backs, and the timing was thrown off, thus the pass was overthrown.
And it is Blake Hammond at quarterback. Hammond running. He's throwing deep. Incomplete. So Blake Hammond has entered into this series after Andrew Ramus was shaken up on the last one. So a couple of incomplete passes from Hammond. He's only thrown 9 passes, completing, or 22 passes, completing 9 coming into this game.
Well, the difference is it's not like a cold quarterback coming off the bench. He starts as a wide receiver, so he really has his adrenaline going, and he's warmed up. You're just putting him in a different position. So it's a lot better than having a second-string quarterback coming in cold turkey off the bench.
Once again, the punt, not much pressure. This one has great hang time. Fair catch called, and making the diving catch at the 48-yard line is Brown. That was dangerous. But we're sitting here with 4 minutes and 33 seconds to play in the first quarter. No score in your 8A semifinal.
I'm going to grab a coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee. You want a coffee?
Coffee. Yeah, I'll take a coffee.
Coffee?
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee. Over there. Is this the line for coffee?
Yeah.
Coffee. Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
3 coffees.
Freshly ground, freshly brewed, and air quote free since 1950. America runs on Dunkin'.
Stop by Dunkin' Donuts today and try one of our 9 delicious coffee flavors.
Get a jump on your Christmas decorating at Menards. Brighten your home with a 7-foot pre-lit tree. The Madison features 550 clear or multicolored lights and are hinged for easy assembly. Your choice only $77.99. Keep games, toys, and flashlights running with Rayovac batteries from Menards. Choose from an 8-pack of AA or AAA, a 4-pack of C or D, or a 2-pack of 9 volts. Right now, buy 1 pack and get 1 free. Helping you prepare for the holiday season. Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
We welcome you back here on WPWR, My TV 50, and a scoreless battle here in the first quarter, 4.5 minutes to play. And we'd like to mention a special thanks to the folks from Illini High Reach, provided our high end zone aerial shots tonight. Chicagoland's High Reach Equipment Professionals, 2 locations in Lamont and East Dundee, 1-800-REACH-90. Lowell, Indiana's own Larry Workman, owner. Well, Mount Carmel has tilted this field definitely to the south. All 3 of their possessions have started right around midfield.
Well, for a game like this, it's really interesting that they've had field position on all 3 possessions they've had, but Lincolnway has turned them away on each attempt.
One of them was a fumble into the end zone. Hoback, little play action. Flips it out, caught by Newcomb. Brought down after a pickup of about 6 yards on the play. Ron Newcomb on the season, as we said, goes both ways. You don't see that often. He makes his 19th reception of the year.
You see right at the top of your screen, he just comes up, delays, and runs an out. And the linebacker bid on it, came up, and he's wide open right out in the corner. Nice target at 6'4", 235 pounds.
About 8 yards on the play, second and a couple. Last couple of possessions, Kopak decided to use his arm. Ramirez and Brown in the backfield. This is Brown, and that's a first down.
Again, nothing fancy, just a straight dive, base blocking. Oftentimes they'll make the tackle come down on the linebacker and leave the defensive tackle on block, but it's just nothing more than a dive, and you just have to have patience. They pick up 4 yards. Now they got first and 10.
Tim Brown on the season, 827 yards rushing on a 6.8 yard per carry average. New set of downs here for the Caravan. Again, the play action. Pump and go, and deep downfield. And the flag is down. The catch is made. Reception pulled in by Dan Nibbs. Oh, did he lay out for that one? Oh, and Kopak put it right on the money.
It wasn't a great play fake as far as the Kopak with the dive fake here, but it was a great fake by the wide receiver. He went out and tried to stalk back the cornerback who bid on it, and Kopak just laid it out there.
On the defense.
And that's because it's a 31-yard reception by Dan Nibbs from Kopak, and once again the Caravan for the second time tonight have the ball, first and goal.
Now, Nibbs made that play with that fake on the stalk block, and then he broke past the cornerback for a nice play.
Kopak, the pitch to Ramirez, to the corner of the end zone, not going to get there. Stop that time, cut down by number 45, John Olafson.
Ramirez is a good-sized back. He's 190 pounds, and he's got good speed to the outside. And you can see right there how Mount Carmel runs their offense. They ran the dive before that, hoping to bring in the linebackers and the safety. They ran the same play, but now they pitch the ball, hoping they'll get the perimeter.
We talked about how Mount Carmel has not allowed any points in the first quarter. Lincolnway East has allowed only 16 points through 12 games this season.
Now, Mount Carmel's been down here before, and we know what happened the last time. They fumbled going in.
It's the same spot, the 2-yard line. The handoff, and not there yet.
Don't go by Carter Kopak. He'll be putting his hands up for that touchdown all day long, and it's a good call by the officials.
Tim Brown doesn't get there. It's third down, and you may see number 10 just hang on to that ball right here and power it straight forward.
Well, off of this offense, there are a lot of plays designed for the quarterback where he fakes the dive, and he basically follows the back into the hole. It's just like a lead power play.
Less than a yard to go. Touchdown, Caravan. So on their third possession, it started from midfield. This time they hammer it in. And Mount Carmel goes on top, 6-0, under 2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Just good old-fashioned Catholic League football. Pounded out, going behind that big offensive line. Nice dive play, good hard running.
Scott Saracen on, looking for the 7th point of this game. The holder is Pat Jarvis. Saracen's kick becomes his 44th extra point of the season, and Mount Carmel, with 1:56 to play in his first quarter, on top, 7-0. You know, we take a look at how this has gone. This has been Mount Carmel's ball game, and you take a look at how Lincolnway East's been back on their heels, but yet you look at these numbers.
Now, this is what we talked about in the opening as far as mirror images of each other. You know, flip a coin. The only difference at the start of the game was the different colors of their uniform. Statistically, they are so much the same, and that's why we talked about possibly that maybe by the end of the game it's going to come down to turnovers and maybe the kicking game.
Run down to the Lincolnway East sideline. Lee Turnbow's there.
Dave, you know, it's not really surprising that Mount Carmel comes out and starts throwing the football because on the season, the Lincolnway East defense has given up less than 400 yards total rushing or 1.3 yards a rushing attempt. An injury update, Andrew Ramus, the quarterback, he was out, had the wind knocked out of him. I believe he's going to come back in the second series. Dan Sebula, they're still working on it. Back to you.
Okay, Lee, in fact, 38 of those 50 yards on that drive came by way of the pass. Get a good look there at Marvin Crosby. He stands back at his end line. Scott Sarrazin, his first kickoff sailed deep into the end zone.
I'm sure when both of these teams scouted each other, they realized that if there is a soft spot, it's in the secondary. Not so much by the ability of the secondary, but just by the mere fact that that they don't throw the ball that much against each other.
This will come back from the goal line. Nice little move of the 15.
He's still
Crosby
going.
still on his feet. And he'll go out of bounds, take a big pop as he crosses the 30-yard line. Let's go down to the Mount Carmel sideline and Mike Cameron.
Better make that 30-yard return for Marvin Crosby. Trevor Griffin will have the ball.
We'll catch up with Mike in just a bit. 31 yards on that kickoff return by Cosby, and this by far is the best field position for the Griffins tonight, starting at their own 31. They are back in the double wing. Play action.
He's open. Oh!
Nearly intercepted at the 35-yard line, in his hands and out. Stephen Filer would have had some room to go.
Well, interestingly enough, the person he was actually throwing it to was wide open, but the guy that knocks it down was initially knocked down and then jumped up. You can see that's not his target. It's right here coming in your screen, and he was wide open. So that was kind of an interesting play. It was a good throw to the right receiver and a great route, but just a lucky play at the point for Mount Carmel.
Pass thrown by Andrew Ramus, so he is back in after sitting out one series. He has one interception tonight, and he is lucky he didn't toss another one right there. And once again, Lincolnway East facing a second down and long.
And they're opening up their formation. They're getting out of the double wing.
Ramus again. Lobs it up, and possession will go to...
If it's a battle, give it to the offense.
And it is. You know, and that's one of the favorite plays they have in Lincolnway East. You throw it up, let 6'5" Blake Hammond go up and get it, and that's exactly what he did. He out-wrestled Keith Nunez for the ball. 22 yards in the reception.
Well, here we go. He's going up in the air, and you can see right here, it's like a jump ball in basketball, and both of them play basketball. And as he makes that turn, Blake Hammond is 220 pounds, muscles it out of the arms, and picks it off right here. And possession goes to the offense if it's a tie ball or a tie jump. You can see right here, Tim Fay is right on the call.
What a great reception by Hammond. Garrettson will get his first carry. Andy Garrettson for about 3, maybe 4. Number 79 rolling off that pile. Adam Guetta, 6'3", 245-pound senior. Going to make somebody very happy in college as an offensive or defensive lineman. Of course, he is a state track qualifier as well. He's a weights man. Give me that discus. Give me that shot put.
Every time. Give me that. Give me him on the football team. Give me that wrestler, that heavyweight wrestler.
Down underneath a minute to play here in the first quarter.
Best field position Lincolnway East has had the entire quarter.
By far.
There's a flag. 5 yards there, offsides.
We'll push it back to be about second down and 12.
Tackle made by 95, Kennedy.
That's going to be against Mount Carmel. The outside linebacker jumped.
Here's our call.
Dead ball. Encroachment on the defense.
Second down and 2.
Take those 5 yards any way you can get them.
This drive here at the end of this first quarter, what a huge confidence boost for Lincolnway East. It gets them out of their own territory. It kind of opens up a little bit of breathing room on this field.
Well, and if it comes down to a situation where they have to punt, at least they have put Mount Carmel in the hole where they have to make more of a drive instead of half the field.
Only need a couple for a first down. To the left side, and there is your first down. Dan Sebula back into the ball game, and that's a very happy sight for many people here on the near side of the field.
Well, it's really interesting. Lincolnway East is so well coached But on the other side, Mount Carmel is also a well-coached football team, and they pursued the ball so well. There's really no cutback lanes. If he can't turn that corner and get up the sideline, there is nowhere to cut back. And, of course, you always use that sideline as the 12th man to force the ball to be turned back inside.
Andrew Ramus been a little bit shaky here in the first quarter, but he has a first down to work with. They'll go to the fullback, Betcher. The pile keeps surging forward with Betcher, and it takes it to the 30-yard line, and that is our final play of this first quarter. So Mount Carmel's streak of having not allowed a point in the first quarter continues now through 13 games, and as a bonus, they have 7. At the end of one, Caravan 7, the Griffins nothing.
How do you secure your financial future? Almost wish you had a life preserver to wear, so you'd be better protected. At Country Insurance and Financial Services, you'll get sound advice and real protection from people you can trust. No wonder more people are turning to Country, the people who know you best. Country, real answers for real financial security.
This is our country.
Teens grow so fast. Worry about acne. Are moody and emotional.
Get out of here!
It's hard to tell typical teen issues from anabolic steroid use. That's what Taylor's parents thought too. Find out if the changes you see are just growing pains or a growing problem.
Help kids make the right choice. Go to avoidsteroids.com to find out how. A message from the National Federation of High Schools with support from the NBA and NHL.
By virtue of their win earlier this afternoon, Wheaton-Warrenville South knows that they will be playing in the 8A state championship game 1 week from tonight, and their opponent will be one of these two teams, Mount Carmel and Lincolnway East. We welcome you back to Frankfort, the home of the Lincolnway East Griffins. And I just get the feeling here, Jack, that Lincolnway East kind of getting their feet underneath them a little bit here.
Well, there's a little confusion right here. We're going to get a timeout, which is not the kind of timeout you want after that break. A little confusion.
In this first half, in the first quarter actually, Andrew Ramus is throwing an interception. They saw their wingback Dan Sebula go down, looked like to be a fairly serious injury. Ramos went down. Mount Carmel scores. They almost have another touchdown before a fumble was recovered in the end zone. Those 12 minutes couldn't get over quick enough for head coach Rob Zvonar. Now speaking of Zvonar, 56-15 in his 6th year, and here is your Menards first quarter stats. Our stats recap brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. We look at the numbers, 15 rushing yards for Lincolnway East. They need bigger. And then you take a look at the other side. Mount Carmel has gone big, 98 yards total in the time of possession. That pretty much tells you how this first quarter went.
Well, you know, in the initial rounds of the playoff, Mount Carmel moved along pretty well. Each opponent scored 7 points in their games. Lincolnway East had to come from behind in 2 of their ball games. So there's no panic at this point, believe me.
Second down and 5. And another first down for the Griffins. Great battling by Andy Garrettson. A couple of scores across the state. We'll take a look at the replay first and fill you in.
Well, again, this is their patent and pull. They pull the guard. They cut right in behind him. It's just a little wingback trap. Good effort getting up the field, north and south. That's the way you want to go against this defense, and he picks up the first down. Good penetration. They're inside the 30-yard line, inside the 25.
In the first half in Class 6A, Batavia shutting out Geneva 20-0. And late in their contest, Plano big over Bureau Valley 49-7. We'll have all scores coming up at halftime, along with highlights from last night's amazing game, St. Rita and Providence. Here's Ramus. Tough pass, tougher catch. The 17-yard line, Andy Garrettson will come away with it.
Well, he's their go-to guy. He's the leading pass receiver as well as the leading rusher for this team. He was there for him last year. That was a play-action pass, and he came underneath the linebackers, was thrown a little bit behind him, but he made the catch, picked up about 7 yards, so now they have second and about 3.
You're saying 2nd and 3, 2nd and 2. In the first quarter, it was 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11. Mike Betcher, the fullback, stands very tight behind the quarterback, Ramus. Motion from Sebula. He gets it. He's grabbed by Newcomb, and he's going down. Sebula ran into big old number 88, 6'4", 235-pound senior Ron Newcomb.
Well, he has 18 tackles for losses, plays both ways. He's made a commitment to go to Northern Illinois next year to play for the Huskies, and he's an excellent recruit for them at 6'4", 235 pounds.
This is the 8th play of the drive for Lincolnway East, starting to rack up the yards, the time of possession, and they are inside the 20-yard line, but a big third down right here. They need 4 yards.
2 down territory. And they have an excellent kicker in Tom Lynch.
Sebula going nowhere, and they will have to bring Lynch on here. This a loss back to the 20.
Well, against this defense, those linebackers are pretty quick, and they come up, and you can see at the top of the screen how they do. They fast flow. Nobody's blocking him. He goes right past the corner, makes the big play. There's Hammond again, and a little surprised by that. I would have thought maybe they would have gone a little east and west here because that's what has been going well for them thus far. But Tom Lynch comes in, 5'11", 195-pound senior, and he is an excellent kicker. He's had 38 of 40 extra points and 17 of 20 field goals.
This will be a 37-yard attempt. He's made 6 between 30 and 39. This one has plenty of distance, and it's good. Tom Lynch puts Lincolnway East on the board, and a 7-point lead has been cut to 4. Second quarter from Lincolnway East. This is a Class 8A semifinal, and you're getting it right here on WPWR.
You're not really up till you've had a McDonald's breakfast. And now any 2 McGriddle sandwiches are just $3.
The family member with the most to say will change every month. But with Singular's Family Talk, it doesn't matter. Get a big bundle of minutes to share, and months when you don't use them all, keep them with rollover. That's the fairest deal in wireless. Add a line for $9.99, plus buy an ultra-thin Samsung phone for $29.99 and get 3 free. Only from Singular, raising the bar.
Hello, Chicago. You want some hot tender pork smothered with sauce, onions, and pickles? It was worth the wait, because McRib is back for $1.99.
So Lincolnway East hits the scoreboard, didn't get the 7 they wanted, but they'll take the 3, and Lynch has been money this year. You know, you get a fellow like this that you can count on to get inside the 40-yard line that you're going to come away with points. It is oh so valuable, and actually he's closing in on the state record for field goals that actually is held by Jake Wyclaw from Lincolnway Central High School, who set that record earlier this year.
They must have some good kickers in this area. But you know, in high school football, it's not a given. That center, that holder, that kicker, it's not like college and the pros. It's not a given that field goal, anytime you're inside the 20, is automatic. It's far from it. Many a coach has had a long night trying to toss and turn on some missed field goals and or extra points.
You get a good look at Tom Lynch. He has it up. He's ready to go. Lynch, 5'11", 195-pound senior. Brown and Ramirez deep for the Caravan. And
into
this
the end zone
will drive them deep, and now will be Mount Carmel's turn, by far their worst field position to start a drive here this evening. They'll start from their own 20. They've been at midfield in their other possessions.
Well, the score could have been probably 2 more scores for Mount Carmel at this point based on the field position they certainly had in that first quarter. They had the opportunities. They fumbled going into the end zone, and on every punt, Lincolnway was punting from their own 10-yard line basically, and giving the ball back to Mount Carmel in great field position.
We saw that touchdown drive by Mount Carmel come off the arm of Kopak. Let's see how Mount Carmel elects to approach this one. If there is a wind situation, the ball popped in the air and batted backwards.
There's a pile, a scrum.
And there is no indication as of yet.
It's got to be Mount Carmel.
And for the Caravan, that ball just came flying out of there. A loss of 10 yards. They'll take the loss of 10 as long as they can keep possession of this ball.
Well, you can see this ball right here pops out. It's a great hit, and see where it goes off the shoulder pads. It's in the backfield, can be picked up and run in for a score. And you can see right here, everybody's going after it. They know the value of that football at this point. And unfortunately, as far as Lincolnway is concerned, Mount Carmel comes up with it.
That's the second fumble tonight. The previous one came in the end zone that was recovered by Lincolnway East, denying Mount Carmel of a touchdown.
And you made the point earlier that Mount Carmel has fumbled the ball on several occasions this year, and you know this happens in games like this.
That was their 28th fumble of the season, and you can see the men in blue doing a little extra hitting here, starting to kind of come off the ball a little bit better. Short gain on that play.
Well, when you're running the option and you have to defend against the option, it's so very important that there's good team discipline, because everybody has a responsibility on the option. The linebackers and defensive line have responsibility for the dive back. The outside linebackers have responsibility for the quarterback, and the corners and or outside linebacker have responsibility for the pitch.
Kopak looking for it in the air. Ball hanging up. And it's batted and incomplete. Newcomb was out near midfield, but on the coverage, number 11, Corey Davis, also number 28, Andy Mao.
Well, they're going to their money man, as you can see. They're throwing the ball deep down the field for Ron Newcomb, and the thing is, he can really fly for 6'4", 235 pounds there. He has double coverage, but he goes up for the football. But what I like about it is he's got excellent speed. And they're putting Lincolnway in the hole. They're going to say, we're going to go up top, so you better loosen up a little bit. Don't try and stop our running game.
You saw Davis and Mao. That ball hit each of them a couple of times before falling incomplete. And now Griffin's figure to get good field position here. It'll be punting time for the Caravan.
Well, what's interesting on this is the punter is the guy that just ran that deep route, Newcomb. And so they might be taking a timeout because he might be tired, and you certainly don't want him to shank one down here.
So he had to come all the way from about the 40-yard line, sprint all the way back, get himself set to punt this way with exactly 8 minutes to play in the first half.
And he averages about 38 yards per punt, but still, you run like that, he plays, both ways, and that's a big play, and he has to come back, and he's basically going to be punting from the goal line. You don't want him to have any kind of pressure or be tired and shank one or get a bad punt off here and give Lincolnway good field position.
Lincolnway East has a sideline report coming up from our Lee Turnbow.
Dave, thanks a lot. And you've got to give Lincolnway East a great amount of credit. 6 years they've made the playoffs, and every year. Rob Zavonard, great record, 56-15. But here is a stat I bet you guys didn't know about. Frank Lindy and the Mount Carmel Caravan, they are playoff contenders every year. As a matter of fact, take a load of this, Dave. Mount Carmel has won more playoff games, 75, under Frank Lindy than Lincolnway East has played in its entire program. That goes to show you what a great program that Mount Carmel has.
Wow. And, of course, Lincolnway East looking to get there for that longevity. And Garrettson will just let this one come to a stop in Mount Carmel territory, and that's where East will take over, trailing 7-3, following the 33-yard kick from Newcomb.
On that last comment, since I'm a friend of Frank Lenty's and he's a good buddy of mine, I'd say that just means he's old. Frank wouldn't like that, but
something about an 80% winning percentage has something to do with that as well.
He's done a great job at Mount Carmel. There's no doubt about that.
The other amazing number with Mount Carmel, the last 21 years, Mount Carmel has played in the state semifinals 16 times. Straight up the middle, they'll try to loosen the defense a little bit that way with Mike Betcher carrying, not much yardage up the gut.
Well, oftentimes it's difficult for the linebackers on defense when you play against a misdirection team such as Lincolnway East runs. It's very difficult for them to figure out where the football is, and so therefore they have to stay home, even on those dives of the fullback that might only result in 2 or 3 yards. Just that little bit of hesitation will hold them up a little bit, and it's very important.
A little bit different look here. Betcher the only back behind Ramus. Garrison's lined up as a wide receiver left, but here comes the pass to the right side for Hammond. He goes up.
Nope.
And intercepted. Somehow, Hammond did not come away with it. The interception made for Mount Carmel. I believe that was picked off by number 22, Antonio Vasquez. We'll take a look.
Well, actually what happened is I think he had the ball initially going down, and then as he made the turn, Vasquez comes up with it right here. So when he came down, Lincolnway East had possession, but on the turn, Mount Carmel ended up with it.
Wow, how about a great pick there. We saw Hammond take the ball away from his defender in the first quarter, and Vasquez, as you said before they went down, he just rips it out, and that stops the Lincolnway East drive and gives it to the Caravan at the 22. 2 of the 5 drives tonight for Lincolnway East have ended in interceptions. Kopak will give it off, and the Lincolnway East defense starting to dig in and put a hurt here on Mount Carmel. They've had a little bit extra fire here, a little bit extra hitting here in this quarter.
That front four of Lincolnway East, Giordano, 6'4", 220, DiNardo, 6'4", 240, Perkel, 285, Kuzel, 195. They're very tough up front. They take a lot of pride in stopping the running game of their opponents.
See if Kopak goes on top after a loss of 2. He's not even going to get a chance, and down he goes. Wow is right.
Now that was going to be strictly a speed option. There's no dive fake. He's coming right out here. You can see he's going to go down the line and look to come and make the dive option. But DJ Perkel, an all-area football player, 285 pounds. He moves pretty good for a 285-pounder. He has had 16 tackles for losses coming this season. That's number 17.
And there was some pain inflicted on that one. Kopak, when he turned around after feeling the initial contact, got labeled. And it is 3rd down and long, about 17 yards for a first down.
Screen draw territory. Oh, flushed out of the pocket.
Running out of room. He's down. Great penetration, great speed by Dan Giordano, number 99, 6'4", 220-pounder. He just ran down Kopak.
Well, that's a great play by a kid that's 220 pounds. You can see right here, he's flushed out of the pocket by the inside penetration, tries to get out on the edge, but 99, Dan Giordano has a great angle, makes a great tackle for a 220-pounder, and he's only a junior, and he, prior to this, had 15 tackles for losses. That's a great play right there. Now that puts Mount Carmel in desperate straits here, and Lincolnway East is going to come up with good field position.
Garrettson standing at the Mount Carmel 42-yard line. Newcomb in his end zone. Flag down. Illegal procedure against Mount Carmel, and you can back that up another 5.
This is an exact mirror of the first quarter when Mount Carmel was getting all of this excellent field possession when they were forcing Lincolnway East.
Ball starts on the offense. Still 4th down.
Now, aside from a fumbled reception here on the punt, Lincolnway East is going to get great field position here. And again, as we mentioned, it's the same, just the reverse of what Mount Carmel was getting in that first quarter. But now, can they take advantage of it?
It's going to take a hop at the 30. Garrettson's going to let it go, and it's going to stop at the 35. This field has completely tilted to the south once again, but it's the guys in the blue jerseys. After a 30-yard punt by Newcomb, they're starting to take control. Lost 16 yards on that last drive, did the Caravan.
Well, that was just great pursuit that did that. Great penetration, great scheme by the defensive coordinator throwing the blitz at him, and then, of course, a great job by great athletes up front for Lincolnway East.
Andrew Ramus, the quarterback, thrown a couple of interceptions. Sebula will get the handoff. Sebula will get back to the line of scrimmage. He's lucky to do that. And these two defenses now are starting to get it fired up. They are going at each other, matching play for play.
Well, both the teams have held their opponents to less than 3 yards per carry, and almost in some cases less than 2 yards per carry in the rush. So that tells you something about their run defense, both teams.
Well, that stop has put East into a passing situation. Instead, Sebula will get about 4 yards. They'll still be 3rd and long. Now, if you're looking at field goal range, you're just about there here for Lynch. This would be about a 50-yarder if this is where the ball stayed.
Well, they have a little wind to their back.
But if you're making the play calls for Lincolnway East, that's in the back of your mind. You know,
well,
we
certainly
don't have to get 10 yards.
Right, when you have a kicker like Lynch, there's no doubt about that. Now, he has made, his longest is 45 yards. He's made 2 of 2 between 40 and 49 yards. So he's in range.
Ramus
Nope.
Sends it up. Sebula's there. It goes off of his hands. Coverage on the play for Mount Carmel is a man who ran an interception earlier, Keith Lewis, and it's 4th down.
Actually, the defensive back stopped and was on his heels, and the receiver actually ran right by him. If it would not been for that visual handicap of the defensive back getting his hands up, we might have had 6 points for Lincolnway. Right. Good shot there, Tim Fay, Hinsdale South. Great football player at Fenwick High School. I remember reading about him when I was a youth. He played at Fenwick and was a great quarterback.
Forget the field goal attempt. Griffins wants 7 yards. We need to get to the 25.
Nope.
Batted down, and it's a good bat down that
time.
time.
What a smart play.
By Antonio Vasquez. He had an interception just moments ago. He could have had another pick there. Instead, he will give his team the ball with 4:04 to play. That much time left in the first half in your 8A semifinal here on MyTV 50.
I got to get up early. I got to be on time. If you go to work early and come home late, you're a Ford kind of guy.
It's Truck Month. We challenge you to find a better deal than on Ford's tough line of pickups.
Nobody else has a lineup of trucks like Ford.
Get $5,500 cash back on F-150 or choose 0% APR for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash only during Truck Month.
Because I'm built Ford tough.
Who's she?
That's your Grandma Helwig.
Hi, Vic. But what about Grandma Faye?
Well, she wasn't in our wireless network, but Grandma Helwig is.
Hi, Vic. But I loved Grandma Faye.
Grandma Faye's expensive. Now get over there and kiss Grandma Helwig.
Hi, Vic.
Hi, Vic.
Now networks don't matter. Introducing MyPhase from T-Mobile with any network calling. Unlimited calls to your 5 favorite people on any network. T-Mobile. Stick together.
Well, that 4th down play by Antonio Vasquez, if he was playing for a new contract, he would have intercepted that pass. But, Jack, a heady play for a young high school player.
Well, you know, it's amazing how far these kids have come in their knowledge of the game situation, what they need. Now, he could have picked that ball off, would have been tackled, and Mount Carmel would have taken the ball over in the 20. He was smart enough to understand that that was 4th down. He just knocks it down. They take the ball over on the 30. They end up making 20 yards on that play by being a smart play by a young high school football player.
As we take a look to the north end of the stadium, that wind has really picked up since game time. We had the game time winds at about 8 miles an hour out of the north. It's probably up in the 10, 12, close to 15 mile per hour range right now, and that's the direction that Mount Carmel will be going into. Flag is down on the play.
I suspect there could be some movement on Mount Carmel.
William Lang, our referee.
Oh, false start. First down.
You know, isn't it interesting, and we talked about a few moments ago, how it was Lincolnway East that was struggling to get into any kind of a rhythm in the first quarter, and when we hit that 12-minute mark and turned this field around, it's been Mount Carmel.
Well, there's some great hitting going on down there. There's no doubt about it. The adrenaline's running. It's just 2 great football teams.
1st and 15. Kopak in a little stop and go and a little bit too much as intended receiver with Pat Jarvis. Coverage for Lincolnway East by number 24, Brendan Mulhern.
Well, you know, from a coaching standpoint, you always tell the quarterback, give him time, give him some wiggle room. You can't run a route as a tightrope down the sideline. There's no place to go, and if the quarterback obviously puts the ball right in the line, there's no fade area. You want to make sure the ball is between the numbers and the sideline so they have room to go get it. It's just that pass was just a little too tight to the sideline.
Carter Kopak came into this game completing almost 59% of his passes for 1,143 yards. A yard, if that, for the Caravan. And it will be 3rd down and about 15 yards to go for a first down.
Well, this is an incredible statistic, but throughout the season, the opponents of Lincolnway East have averaged per rush 1.3 yards per carry. Now that tells you what a great rush defense they have. On the other side of the coin, for Mount Carmel, it's almost the exact same scenario. They've given up 2.7 yards per rush. That's almost unheard of in high school football. But those are 2 great run defenses we're looking at right now. Maybe that's why they're both throwing the ball a little more.
These two teams have each played 6 teams that qualify for the state playoffs. Kopak gets it out, trying to get a first down, and not there. It will be about 4 yards short. The pass went to Tim Brown out of the backfield. He got a little bit of yardage here to set up a little bit better situation for a Newcomb punt, but not enough.
This is a safe pass just out in the flat right here. The linebacker didn't get out there in time. The cornerback coming up to make a nice play. Corey Dubas, 6 foot, 150-pound senior, comes up and makes the tackle, forces Mount Carmel to punt. Again, Lincolnway East should get decent field position.
And we'll see how this ball hangs up into the air. This is the 3rd straight drive that Mount Carmel has been forced to punt.
Well, you don't want the ball to hit the ground. You tell your punt returners, make sure you catch it, because they can take some crazy bounces on this artificial turf.
Garrison's going to get a chance here on a return. No, he makes sure he covers up on it. We've had the ball bouncing around a little bit. That's a 34-yard punt by Newcomb. His previous 2 were 33 and 30. Also had a 48-yard early.
That drop was forced by the coverage.
44-yard punt for Newcomb.
You can see right here, he probably took his eye off the ball, and his elbows were not in. That's one of the things you want to make sure. You always tell your punt returners, have those elbows in. You do not want to let the ball get through and come down like it did right there. And I think he got a little pressure, and he took his eye off the football.
Shade over, 2 minutes to play and a half. Ramus up in the air and incomplete. He had 4 white jerseys compared to 2 blue ones that time. Ramus has thrown a couple of picks tonight already.
2nd down and 10.
In the season, coming into this game, we had mentioned earlier that Ramus had thrown just 6 interceptions.
Well, he has 1,595 yards of passing yardage with 10 touchdowns. He's averaged 132.9, rounded off to 133 yards per game. That's excellent balance when it comes to a team that really is run-orientated. That kind of yardage keeps the team off balance. And he, again, as we mentioned in the open, needs to have a good night. Not a great night, but if he can keep his average of about 135 to 40 yards per game, he'll be in good shape.
Up the middle, fullback dive, gets about 3. Mike Betcher with the carry.
You know, it's interesting, Dave. Lincolnway East has really used 3 fullbacks all year. Betcher, Grunwald, and Lidja. And people look and they say, well, they really don't have a starting fullback. But the thing is, that if you compare their stats, that fullback position has 740 yards. It's not that, you know, one has 400 yards, another one has 200. It's that that position has 740 yards, and that's a big factor for this particular offense. It doesn't make any difference if you're using 5 fullbacks. It's what are you getting out of that position as far as yardage.
Huge crowd here in Frankfort watching the final 90 seconds here of the first half. A little miscommunication.
He did a curl, and Ramos was expecting him to do an out route.
Mount Carmel is going to get their hands on the ball here. Clock stops, 1:27 left in the first half. A 7-3 Mount Carmel lead.
You know, I don't think that either team have really played it close to the vest for as big a game as this is. In fact, the reverse of that. For the most part, they've opened it up. Both teams that are really run teams have thrown the ball a lot more.
End over end kick. This could take a big hop.
Crazy bounces on AstroTurf.
And the wind kind of still pushing it a little bit that way. And field position will be at the 25-yard line, 75 yards away from a score, following the 43-yard punt from Lynch. Now we had a chance to see Tom Lynch working on his punting during our pregame, almost right through our pregame.
Before you go down there, what's the coach interview?
You trust his accuracy. At least I did.
Well, I did. I had flinches. Of course, I was ready to throw my cashmere top coat in front of you to save you, if need be.
Thank you so much. Boy, that I would have paid to see.
You might have had to.
Let's see how the Caravan want to play this final minute 13. On the ground, and there's nothing there. There's your 1.3 yard per carry average right there.
That's right, and it's interestingly enough, the dive back who had the ball was on the ground, and the quarterback was on the ground. That's how you play defense against an option team. Put everybody on the ground. When in doubt, put them on the ground.
They'll actually get a couple of yards on that, taking it to the 28-yard line. And this may be the last play. The clock continues to run.
Mount Carmel's in no big hurry. This will be a dive. I would shock me if it was any kind of a pass. They want to kind of regroup here. They'll take the lead in the halftime.
Staying on the ground.
Just a draw play.
And I don't know that Lincolnway East would choose to stop the clock here. And that probably was our last play of this first half. Well, we have seen, in its own little way, a little bit of everything. We've seen the ball loose on the field. We've seen interceptions. We've only seen one touchdown and a field goal, so at the end of the first half, it's going to be a 7-3 Mount Carmel lead.
Well, it's one of those football games where we talked about in the open. It's two solid football teams playing a great football game, and that's what we've seen in the first half, just good football.
Last night, it was a 34-31 win by St. Rita to punch their ticket to the 7A state finals. We didn't think we'd get as many points coming up here tonight, though each team has had their moments in each quarter. It was Mount Carmel's first quarter, it was Lincolnway East's second quarter.
Well, and it's been field position, as we mentioned. Kicking game can be very important. Turnovers in games like this are always a big factor, and as we talked about, both teams had their opportunities in each quarter as far as field position.
Need to get a look at the crowd here tonight, and that's the crowd that actually got here early enough to get seats in the stands. You are packed shoulder to shoulder in the stands, but if you look down at the end just beyond Mount Carmel, and now you look on the near side here, you've got people, I'm guessing they're probably 10 deep in that far corner of the end zone, and that's a long way from this field. Crowd estimates will leave to somebody else here tonight, but people have come from a long way away to come and see this one, and what they've seen is one half of play, not a lot of points, but the game we did expect. And if you're a Mount Carmel fan, you like the way it looks. At the end of the first half, Mount Carmel 7, Lincolnway 3 here in the 8A semifinals on WPWR My TV 50.
You can't ignore it forever. It's your future. It's real life. Whatever your goals may be, it's important to get real answers from people you know and trust. At Country Insurance and Financial Services, we'll help you feel secure for everything life has coming your way. Country, real answers for real financial security. Because this is real life.
This is our country.
Need a truck? Call the red, white, and blue fleet from Elite Truck Rental. Elite's loaded with trucks in all sizes ready to serve you. Plus, at Elite Truck, your reservations are guaranteed, you're in and out fast, and you always get a great price. So for your moving day, your business, or a quick pickup, it's a call and you're done. For your Elite Truck and your free moving guide, call 312-942-1001.
Call Elite Truck, 942-1001.
It is halftime in Frankfort and Lincolnway East High School. There is your halftime score. The Caravan on top of the Griffins here in the semifinals in Class 8A. The winner of this game to play Wheaton Warrenville South in the 4 o'clock game 1 week from today. Well, it's been our pleasure to bring you a couple of football games here in the past 2 nights. Live football action, semifinal action. And if you were with us last night, you're going to enjoy the next minute and 48 seconds. If you weren't with us last night, just take a deep breath and hold on. This is St. Rita and this is Providence battling for the right to go downstate in 7A football action. St. Rita got things rolling first. The Mustangs came to New Lenox for the second time this year. Quarterback Pete Balsam in for a yard out, a 7-0 Mustang lead. But as it would be all night long, Providence right on back. Brian Stroud, Carson Cleveland. There's a little spin move. This one's going to go for 51 yards. And just like that, we are tied up at 7-7. Mustangs battling right back. Another 1-yard run by Balsam for a 14-7 lead. What do you think the men in green are going to do? Stroud. Mike Maher on the other end just takes it away from Deontay Hood, and this makes it a 14-14 game. Big plays didn't belong just to Providence Catholic. St. Rita get in on the action as well. This a short little pass from Balsam to Clifford Moore, and turn on the Jets. 61 yards later, he'll take it down untouched. 21-14 St. Rita. We're still in the first half. Mike Sodick, right-footed field goal kicker for Providence, nails his 31-yard field goal and inches the Celtics closer at 21-7. But with time draining down here in the final play of the first half, Steve Flaherty from 41 yards out in a 24-17 halftime lead. Second half, big plays continue. This is a 20-yard pass to Maher for a score, and it's 24-24 tie. Then Peter Balsam from St. Rita not happy with just a tie. He's going to put his team on top, 31-24 with this touchdown run. Celtics march right back. Mike Sodick wanted another field goal. This one, however, misses just wide to the right, so we're stuck at a 31-24 St. Rita lead. Stroud, though, on a steak. It is 31-31 fourth quarter. Let's flash back to earlier this year. Steve Flaherty with a 27-yard field goal with 2 seconds left gives St. Rita the win in that game. Well, tonight it was the state semifinals. This with 5.3 seconds left. Flaherty for the game winner, 22 yards out, dead center. St. Rita, for the first time since 1978, heads to the state championship ball game. 34-31 winners over Providence Catholic.
Now we're going to take a look at, you don't have to wait till tomorrow's newspaper to look at some of the scores in today's state championship games, state finals. Prospect lost to Lake Zurich. That's a surprise. St. Rita again last night beating Providence, and they will play Lake Zurich in the state championship game next Saturday.
Take a look at 6A at halftime. Batavia shutting out Geneva, looking to defeat Geneva for the second time this year. And earlier today, Normal Community takes a perfect record of state championship game, 28-14 win. In the top part of the 5A bracket, Marion Central at the half, 7-0 over Canelan. Sacred Heart Griffin looking to go back to that state title game, 19-0 over Metamora at the half.
Well, Driscoll again will return to the state championship game. They beat Prairie Central 17-7. Breeze Mater Dei, a final over Mascoutah and the championships. And then we're looking now at Bureau Valley losing to Plano 49-0. And a big game down there, St. Joe's beating Anna Jonesboro 22-21. So there's your matchup for next weekend.
In 2A semifinals, another one-point game. This time Westfield 21-20 over Morrison. Maroa Forsyth shutting out KZ Westfield, setting up a Maroa Forsyth Westfield championship ball game. That will be our first game Friday at 10 a.m. And in Class 1A, Aledo just keeps it rolling, 46-24 over Lexington, and it was Tuscola 31-10 win over Mount Olive. So our 1A championship game will pit Aledo versus Tuscola, and all of those championship games next week you can catch on the IHSA TV network. We have to get somebody into that 8A state championship game to face Wheaton Warrenville South, and we're halfway there. Mount Carmel 7, Lincolnway East 3. We'll take a break. Back with more from Lincolnway East High School right after this.
No ding-a-ling, no ding-a-ling. Alarm clock catastrophe. This is not a good time for me. I'm as far behind as a human being can possibly be. Alarm clock catastrophe.
No time for a sit-down breakfast? Grab the new Dunkin' Donuts French Toast Twist. America runs on Dunkin'.
Stop by Dunkin' Donuts today and try a warm French Toast Twist and medium coffee.
It only happens once a year. The Chevy Red Tag event. With the best deals of the season. The price on the tag is the price you'll pay. Now, 07 Chevy vehicles from Avail to Corvette Z06 come with the GM 100,000-mile warranty. Combined with roadside assistance and courtesy transportation, it's the best coverage in America. See some red, save some green.
Log on now to ChevyDriveChicago.com. Check us out today.
Time to take a little bit of a breather here at halftime if you're part of the big crowd, but if you're the man in charge of the big crowd, there's no break. The athletic director of Lincolnway East High School, Dave Rose, standing by with our Lee Turnbow.
Dave, thanks so much. And Mr. Brose, I'm telling you what, you've got your work cut out for you, not only tonight, but the whole week. I look around this place, your stadium, and it's 10 deep from the railing to the fence. The stands are jam-packed. How did you do it this week?
Well, this has been an exciting week, a week that every athletic director in the state of Illinois should experience at least once in their lifetime. And here it is, our third year in a row. So a lot of work by a lot of people, great cooperation by our administration, our staff, and our community leaders.
And I just want to commend you on usually you guys on playing Saturday night, you play at 6, but now you work with the IHSA, and you move this game to 7 so you can go on TV, and it makes for a great experience, and a great job you guys working with the IHSA on this.
Well, we want to do everything we can to cooperate with the IHSA, and what exposure for not only our kids, but the kids from Mount Carmel. So we were excited that this game was going to be on TV live.
Now, the undertaking, I know you've got great athletic programs, but as an old coach, as an old competitor, tell me what you think about the second half, the adjustments you're going to make coaching-wise.
Well, if you watch the Griffins all year, we've made those adjustments at half, and we've been a better second-half ball club than a first half. So we're excited. We're still in this game. 7-3 is not insurmountable, so we'll see what happens.
Thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Lee.
That was Dave Brose, the athletic director here at Lincolnway East High School. Dave, back to you.
Well, Dave talks about how the Griffins have been a second-half team. How about outscoring their opponents 174-25 in the second half. Let's go down now to Mike Cameron. Mike?
We had some great offensive line. We hung in there. York is a very physical defensive team. Made us work for every yard we got.
Okay. Dan Durking had a hip pointer last week that only played about a half in your Barrington quarterfinal game. Tell me how he's doing, please.
He's sore and bruised, but Danny's a competitor. He'll be ready to go this week.
About how many carries did he get?
He had 27 carries for about 95 yards.
Okay. You've kind of been operating under the radar compared to all the hype with these two teams. How are you feeling about that?
Well, we like to sneak up on people. We thought we did last year with a great football team of 2005 until we ran into a very good team from Lincolnway East here last year. But these kids have been very successful in their past. They're a great group of seniors. They've done some great things, and we're excited the fact we have an opportunity to get into a state final for the first time.
Congratulations, Ron. We're sending it back upstairs.
Thank you very much, Mike, and what a great feeling that is for a coach to have won a semifinal game in the afternoon. He can just kind of relax, come out, and enjoy a football game on a Saturday night. Ron Muich from Warrenville South, we'll see him downstate in that 8A championship game, and we'll see one of these two teams next week as well. You stay right there. More coming up from Lincolnway East High School right after these messages.
Mom, about your wedding. I like red flowers, and Cousin Artie can play the accordion.
Okay. Bye, Mom. Get to where you really want to go in a Ford Escape with the power you want, road grip and control you need. And with Escape and Escape Hybrid, get up to 36 miles per gallon. Get into an Escape, the best-selling small SUV for just $249 a month. Get to your Ford store today. Come on, baby.
Know what they're thinking? The Arby's Market Fresh Reuben sandwich. Choose corned beef or turkey, melted Swiss, Thousand Island dressing, and sauerkraut on toasted marble rye. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
10 points on the scoreboard here on an empty field here at Lincolnway East High School. Lincolnway East has gone into the locker room. Mount Carmel on the northeast corner of this field. Take a look at our halftime stats. And our recap is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And, you know, you take a look at the numbers here, Jack. Not the big yardage, but we don't expect that.
Well, the time of possession to me it's what's quite interesting. Mount Carmel only had 7 points out of 14 minutes, and they had two major opportunities to score. One, they fumbled into the end zone. So at this point, that's probably the only glaring statistic you can see that Mount Carmel's only come up with 7 points in 14 and a half minutes.
If you play that turnover game, it's 2-1. No real damage done by a big margin in that case. So there are your first half statistics. We will obviously keep things under our eyes as we look into the second half. And our first half scoring recap is brought to you by Baker Square. Visit Baker Square to make your Thanksgiving pie reservation tomorrow. And here are your highlights. And this first one comes by way of Ramirez. There is your touchdown run and a 7-0 lead. And then very quickly, our second scoring highlight. This is it. Tom Lynch. Field goal makes this the 7-3 lead, and that's where we are right at the moment. Well, you know, before every game, during our pregame, we like to talk about our keys to the game. So we take a look first at the scoring recap. There it is, 1-yard run, 6 plays, 50 yards, and Lynch's field goal, 7-3. And we'll see if we can fill up the bottom half of that screen a little bit more in the second half. Chevy's Keys to the Game brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers. Let's see how we're doing after one half of play.
Well, I'll tell you what, actually we're doing pretty well because special teams, Mount Carmel had great field position the entire first quarter. They held the ball for 16 minutes of that ball game, and they kept them guessing. They threw the ball a lot more than they had, and then game prior to this in the first half. So those keys are pretty much on task right now.
See the defensive discipline, Lincolnway East discipline on defense coming up big in the second quarter. We're getting set for that second half kickoff. Don't go anywhere. We've got to put somebody in that state championship game against Wheaton Warrenville South. Mount Carmel and Lincolnway East. It's the Griffins down by 4 here at the half.
The IHSA football semifinals are brought to you in part by Menards.
Transform any room in a weekend with help from Menards. Discover the beauty of your home with Pittsburgh paint. Right now, elegant interior ultra flat is only $14.79 a gallon. Eggshell, satin, and semi-gloss are also on sale. Or choose the Easy wall coverings from Blonder. There's no booking, no stretching, hangs in minutes, and is fully removable for easy redecorating. Right now, all in-stock Easy wall coverings are 27% off.
Save big money at Menards.
Academy Award winner Tatum O'Neal is Blythe Hunter, and she's gone off the deep end.
Did you feel that?
But that's what 25 years of heartache will do to a girl. Now, it's time for a little payback.
He has got to lose it all.
She's insane. Wicked, wicked game.
Premiering December 6th at 7 on My 50 Chicago. Still standing. Weeknights at 5 and 5:30 on My 50 Chicago.
Our two teams tonight combining for a 23-1 record heading into tonight's ball game. And you look at teams like that and you figure every game is a blowout for these two if you have to get to this far. But Jack, if you look at Lincolnway East, they've had to work from behind at times.
They really have. Mount Carmel had kind of an easy way of it, but Lincolnway East was behind in 2 of their ball games, 2 out of 3 ball games prior to this. They were behind last week. Going into the fourth quarter, they were trailing by 10 to Bolingbrook, and they had a fumble recovery in the end zone for a touchdown and turned that ball game around, ended up winning at 19-13. In their very first round against Lyons Township, Jack Durning had a great game plan at Lyons Township, and they barely squeaked by. Lincolnway East beat Lyons 27-12, but going into the fourth quarter, LT, Lyons Township, was beating them. So they've been in this position before. They're not going to panic by any stretch of the imagination, but they have been in this situation. It's just it's the second half. It's 0-0 as far as both teams obviously are concerned.
There is your coverage on the IHSA TV network next week. All 8 games live. Notice 2A, 1A, 4A, 3A, and of course 6, 5, 8, and 7. A little bit of a flip-flop there on Friday and Saturday. All of those games live to you right here on WPWR, My TV 50. Those games beginning at 10 a.m., and we will run them all the way through. And by the time we are done, we will have our 2006 8th state champions. You already saw earlier in halftime a lot of the matchups that will be taking place next weekend. We'll be happy to be down there with you. Make sure you plan your Thanksgiving weekend around the IHSA TV network.
Well, it's kind of interesting. The winner of this game playing next week and playing already knowing who the opponent would be. Of course, we don't know who is going to be playing Wheaton Warrenville South, but we can tell you something about Wheaton Warrenville South. They have a great running back, player of the year in the Chicago area, Dan Durking, and he's an outstanding football player.
Rob Zvonar is the head coach at Lincolnway East High School. What a run he's had already in his 6th year, 56 wins and 15 losses, and he's standing by on our sidelines right now.
Thanks, Dave. And, Coach, you knew it was going to be tough here in the first half. Give me your impressions of the first half.
Well, you know, that we hate to see, but defense settled in a little bit. A good second quarter. Yeah, but we'll see what.
Thanks a lot, Rob. Good luck in the second half.
Okay, thanks very much, Lee. And, you take a look at these two teams. And as we're watching the warm-ups here, I know it has nothing to do with the 22 men that are actually on the field at that particular time, but both of these teams load up the rosters for the state playoffs.
Well, everybody does that because you get an opportunity to bring up sophomores for a couple extra weeks of practice. And last night while I was laying awake, tossing and turning, I threw on a nightlight, and I looked at the rosters, and I came up with this, that Lincolnway East has 47 juniors, 16 sophomores, and 2 freshmen. Now, those are all underclassmen. They're going to be back in the next few years. On the other side of the coin, Mount Carmel has 36 juniors and 6 sophomores. And you get 3 to 4 extra weeks of practice with your kids for next year, and that's a great opportunity when you go this deep into the playoffs.
I don't think that can be minimized, and a lot of people say, well, why do you see always the same programs year after year? Well, there's many reasons, and I truly believe one of which is what you just brought up.
Absolutely, and teams will do that. They'll take, the sophomores up, the good ones, gives the juniors more time to be polished. more practice time gives sophomores to come up and give them the opportunity to get into your system, the varsity system, and have practice time and see what it's like at a different pace. And that's why these teams, for the most part, 7 and 8A, at the larger schools, always have very solid programs because those kids get 4 extra weeks of practice if you go this deep into the playoffs, and that makes a big difference in the long run.
Adjustments at halftime. You take a look at these two teams. You look at how this game has played out. I'm wondering what type of adjustments would either coach think about making?
Well, at this point, obviously, they're both doing things a little differently than they had during the season. Neither team has thrown this much throughout their schedule. And they realize that for both of their teams, the softest part is the secondary. I don't mean that by personnel. I mean that by the structure of the particular defenses. So that's why they threw the ball so much in the first half. This could be interesting. They could both come out in the second half and say, hey, let's go back to what we do normally and do it well, and let's start trying to run the ball down each other's throat. And I'll tell you what, if that's the case, this could be pretty close to what the final score could be, one direction or another.
Well, in fact, I was just thinking that very thing. Whoever scores next may score last, and that could be it.
Absolutely. These are two great teams, and the thing is, they both play great run defense. So that play-action pass here or there, or that big turnover and that special teams could be the factor in the second half.
Pretty good win behind the back of Tom Lynch, who has that ball ready at the 40-yard line. We've already seen a couple of kickoffs going to this part of the field. And Lynch is going to make it a third. That's a big leg. From the 20-yard line, that's where the Caravan will start here in the second half. Carter Kopak, the quarterback. He threw for about 50 yards nearly on that touchdown drive. We take a look at each team having 7 possessions in that first half. Mount Carmel punted 4 times. They turned over once, scored a touchdown, and then the clock ran out at them at the end of the first half. For Lincolnway East, 3 punts, 2 turnovers. They had a field goal, and one time they had to give the ball up on down.
Quite a matchup. Quite a matchup.
After 12 and a half games, we still can't split them, though Mount Carmel holds that 4-point lead. Go back to senior. Nice little step move. He's going to get about 4 yards. He saw that quick opening. Number 45, John Olafson, brings him down to finish it off. But he sees that little crack, and he knows what to do with it. Well, in fact, that's what Frank Lindy says. You know, it amounts to a success for Mount Carmel, amounts to coming down off the ball and Kopak making good decisions.
Well, he's the second leading rusher on the team, and also the second leading rusher when it comes to attempts. So you know you have to have a good, tough quarterback to run this particular offense. He's a big kid at 200 pounds.
In fact, last night we saw Peter Balsam from St. Rita, 6'3", 210. Both teams playing out of the Catholic blue. Late pitch and great penetration. Tim Brown is lucky to hang on.
Now that was just a great job on the defensive responsibility football against the option. A man was assigned to the quarterback. He put him on the ground. A man was assigned to the pitch man, put him on the ground. Great defensive effort.
Number 24, Brendan Mulheron, will get credited for the tackle for loss, that of 8 yards. Boy, and Brown, it was bang, bang. Catch the ball, get hit, and he is lucky to hang on back here at the 15-yard line.
Well, they probably just polished up at halftime assignments, and sometimes you change up those assignments just so they don't get the same read every single time. And good football teams will do that. They'll change up who has the responsibilities of pitch and dive and those type of things.
Seen Kopak throw the ball deep to Newcomb on a couple of occasions. He's going to go this time to Jarvis, enough to get him a little bit out of trouble, but not enough for a first down, about 3 yards short.
Well, he attempted to run a great route there, and he was pressured into coming to 3 yards short by the defensive back. Kopak really has a great setup and great delivery, but the defensive back right here put enough pressure on him that he forced him to run that route 3 yards short of that first down. So that was a great defensive effort.
Newcomb tonight is his last 3 punts, averaged about 32, 33 yards per kick. He's been kicking into the wind with all of those. He had a 48-yarder with the wind in the first quarter.
Great snap.
Garrettson will let it hop. And it bounces straight up and down. Will be down at about the 43-yard line. Newcomb with the 30-yard kick, so very consistent going that direction. And again, maybe, we take a look at that wind, that everything has been happening to the right side of this field as you're watching this game. And maybe that wind has more of an impact than we may be led to believe.
Well, it could very well, but these are two teams that really don't worry too much about the wind for the most part. Their passing attack, because of how they run the football, they'll throw deep occasionally for the bomb just in case defensive backs are playing too tight on the run.
First play of the second half for Lincolnway East goes to Garrettson for a 3-yard gain.
And again, that's about the average of what Mount Carmel gives up. But in this kind of an offense, you have to have patience. You have to, and then first down is such a big play. You need to get 4 yards. And a lot of people think, well, third down is so crucial. I don't believe that. I think first down is a crucial, especially in high school football, a crucial down. You come up with 4 or 5 yards. Now the play calling becomes a little easier.
Ramus will check out that Mount Carmel defense. Senior quarterback looks it over, sends Sebula in motion. Looking to throw to the right side and Hammond. And that ball just took off on him a little bit.
Now, he had the corner beat. It was just a little fade route. Just kind of overthrew it a little bit. But see, now they're in a position, even though it's third and long, they're still in a position where they can come back and pick it up. They don't necessarily need to throw the ball, but that was a great down to do that, throwing with the wind.
Now you put yourself in about a 3rd down and 7 situation. Blake Hammond, as we said, 6 feet 5 inches tall. They love him on that sideline pattern.
Well, especially when you're going up against 5'11" and 6-foot corners.
Now Garrettson comes out to the bottom of your screen with Hammond. Looked like they wanted to set up the screen. And
he could get a penalty here.
Ramus just throws this away, and I do not see a flag. And while we have this moment, let's go down our sideline reporter, Mike Cameron. Mike?
The game within the game started before the game. Olafson said about his teammate Perkle that he was virtually unblockable. And Arthur Ray got a hold of that quote, and he said, unblockable, eh? We'll see about that. Well, first quarter, they handled Perkle pretty well. And he has been tremendous. So we'll see how it goes the rest of the game.
Thank you very much, Mike, as Lynch's punt carried very nicely, didn't take much of a hop, and this possession will start inside the 30-yard line, 30-yard kick for Lynch. So we traded 30-yard punts. We played a little over 2 minutes here in the third quarter. Our score remains 7-3, touchdown run by Ramirez, a field goal by Lynch. You just wait for that big turnover. Now, we had one early in the game when the ball was fumbled into the end zone that Lincolnway East recovered to keep Mount Carmel out, but you're waiting for that one big one that could just flip this game around.
Well, we also had another one where it was fumbled into the backfield, and Mount Carmel came up with it, which could have been a big play for Lincolnway East. Good, again, great pressure. Oh, he's open.
And the catch is made. Off the deflection at midfield. Boy, talk about staying with a pass. Gain of 22 yards, and Ron Newcomb brings it in. He doesn't leave the field, and he makes a catch here.
Well, that dive fake held the corner just momentarily, but right there, that jump by number 99 forced Kopech to scramble a little bit, and you can see that it pays off when you're 6'4" and have great concentration and deflection. He comes up with the football. It's a big play for Ron Newcomb and the Mount Carmel Caravan.
Puts them right at midfield with a first down. A little draw play this time to Brown, and he bursts forward for about 6.
Again, Mount Carmel keeping Lincolnway's defense off balance a little bit. A little draw fake, which dropped those linebackers. Even a step or two allows those offensive linemen to get on them to make that block, and that's what set that up, was just that little stutter step by the quarterback on the draw.
Last carry went to Eric Ramirez, who came into this game with a 7.6-yard average. Had a good first down carry right there. That's 7 yards.
It's nice to have those on first down.
Staying on the ground, Kopech keeps, and he's about a yard short.
Well, again, he was never going to pitch that. It was a dive fake, and then he was keeping it the whole way. And we've got a player down for the Caravan. And I think it's the running back. It's hard to tell from here.
I think it may be Ramirez. Take a look. That is at about the 43-yard line. Well, earlier we saw Dan Sebula go down and did not look good as he was grabbing his knee, but he's been back into the ball game. We saw Andrew Ramus, the quarterback for Lincolnway East, get the wind knocked out of him. He missed a series. And Ramirez is down right now. You get a good look at that Lincolnway East defense, and number 88, Ron Newcomb. You don't, in Class 8A football, your elite teams, you don't see a fellow like Newcomb, as good as he is, all that often, where he truly does not leave the field.
Well, nowadays, some of these teams, like, for example, Lincolnway East has over 110 kids on this roster. Mount Carmel has over 100. I mean, their bus budget is more than you and I probably make in a lifetime. But the point is that there's great depth here. They do develop depth, and oftentimes, you know, a back goes down. Well, that just gives another really good back the opportunity that he didn't have before.
Winner of this game to take on Wheaton Warrenville South. That will be a 4 p.m. game down at Memorial Stadium in Champaign 1 week from today. That will be for the 8A championship as Ramirez has helped off the field, and we get a look at our two coaches working the sidelines, and there's Ramirez, a little shaky on his feet.
That's 500 yards of rushing, 7.6 average going off the field, and 9 touchdowns. So he's an important cog in the offense for the Mount Carmel Caravan.
Kyle Parker comes in. Parker has rushed for 577 yards this year. Only need a yard here on 3rd down. Kopak wants it himself. He may have that nose up across the line, and he does.
I think he does. That if he was 5'11", he wouldn't, but he's 6'1", and he got it. You can see right here, he just follows the dive fake right inside. He's tripped up a little bit, but he lowers that shoulder, and that 200 pounds and that 6'1" frame picks up that 2 yards and that first down for Mount Carmel and keeps the drive moving.
Olafson thought he had him there for a moment, but you saw the strength. The big 210-pound quarterback. From the 39-yard line, Mount Carmel looking to build on a 7-3 lead. They scored in the first quarter. Lincolnway in the second. Kopak has it to Jarvis. He has it at the 27-yard line. And another first down for Mount Carmel.
Well, it's hard for our viewers at home to see, but these receivers actually make it easy for Kopak to make those throws because they do a great job of running down the field and faking run blocks, which then gets the secondary to change their areas, and all of a sudden they turn and curl, and Kopak puts the ball right on the money. So they've done a great job of getting open by doing a good job of faking.
Caravan have mixed their plays here in this drive. Oh, and hitting the backfield is Parker, a loss on the play. Penetration by DJ Perkle. Brendan Mulhern, number 24, was there as well.
He's really a defensive catalyst and the anchor to that defensive line, and also to that very tough run defense of Lincolnway East. TJ Perkle, an all-area football player, 6'1", 285-pound senior, was an outstanding player last year for them on their state championship team, and he's had a great season thus far for Lincolnway.
On this drive, this will be the 7th play of the drive. 4 of the previous plays on the ground, 2 in the air, and this makes number 3. Jarvis with the catch, brought down quickly. Pat Jarvis checking into this game, the second leading receiver. Nibs, number 1, Dan Nibs. Jarvis with 24 catches, 2 behind, just Nibs.
Just a 3-step drop here, and he gets it right out. A nice throw to get it up nice and high to Pat Jarvis, who is already nice and high at 6'4". So that's a nice target to be throwing that out to.
On the first touchdown drive of the night, the only touchdown drive of the night for Mount Carmel, the Caravan threw the ball effectively, and here on this drive, they have thrown the ball for 39 yards. And flags are down.
Now, based on this, I think it's going to be against Mount Carmel, but this was two down territory for Mount Carmel prior to this play. So we'll get the call here.
That's 5-yard penalty, illegal procedure. We'll send it back.
Dead ball. Illegal motion by the offensive line for Mount Carmel.
That touchdown drive in the first quarter for Mount Carmel, 38 yards in the air on a 50-yard drive. This one is at 39 yards.
This is a coach's nightmare. They had 3rd and short, and now they ended up with 3rd and 13 in a big football game. So you don't want to lose a ball game on penalties.
Kopak.
Oh, could be a face mask.
There it is. Flag flies out of there. He kind of shook that one off, but he got that helmet spun.
And you can see it's unintentional. Right here, he comes back, and the defensive lineman is going right past him and just takes a swipe at him, gets him right in the face mask, and here comes the flags from everywhere.
number 73, Dave DiNardo. He was hoping to catch shoulder pad and a little bit of that white Mount Carmel helmet. Five minutes, 40 seconds left here in the third quarter. Still third down. Third and about 12.
It's a big series here for Mount Carmel with 2 downs here to pick this first down up.
Over the middle it goes. It's complete, but short of the first down. They get it to Dan Nibbs, but he is about 7 yards short of the first down at about the 23.
Now he just does an under route here, and it's just a 5-step drop, and he throws it underneath the linebackers right there. He picks up 7 yards, so it's 4th and about 5 for the Caravan.
They'll bring Scott Saracen in. He's going to attempt a 38-yard field goal. Saracen on the season has 4 field goals. Looking to boost this lead back to 7. Jarvis the holder. Be a little bit closer to 39 yards by the time he hits it. Here we go. Saracen, plenty of leg, and it's no good. Missed it to the left side. So the Lincolnway East defense holds. The drive comes to an end. Our score remains 7-3, Mount Carmel on top of the Griffins. 4:35 left in the quarter. East gets their hands on the ball when we come back.
Sunday on Chicago's weekend movie station, we've got something for everyone. At 1, the comedy Idle Hands, starring Seth Green. You killed me! Then at 5, your dose of action. Jet Li stars in The One. Don't you people everywhere? And at 7, we didn't forget your sci-fi cravings. Kurt Russell stars in Stargate.
Your job here is to realign the Stargate. Can you do that or not? I can't.
Sunday beginning at 1 on My 50 Chicago.
You look at that score right there and you say, well, these teams obviously have scored a lot of points all year. Who have they scored their fewest points against? Well, ironically enough, Mount Carmel's fewest points came against St. Rita, scoring 6 in a 7-6 loss. Lincolnway East, it was their first game of the year. They scored 15 points against Providence Catholic, 15-14. We saw those two teams last night live here on MyTV 50. And that pass is complete, good enough to about the 27-yard line.
And that gets back to our early conversation about what got these two teams here is the great competition that they've played. They've been in tough ball games against tough opponents.
Hey, even when taking a short drive, don't take chances. Remember, click it or ticket. This message brought to you by the Illinois Department of Transportation. Nice pickup on first down for the Griffins. On the inside and coming up about a yard short will be Garrettson. So Lincolnway East will have the wind at their back here for about 4 more minutes. Now all the scoring has been to our right.
It's kind of interesting on that play, and it's happened several other times. The outside linebacker, the wingback side that goes in motion, as soon as he goes in motion, he crashes down behind him because Lincolnway likes to run a counter inside, and that player has made the play on 3 separate occasions by following that wingback.
Ramus straight up the middle. Kind of did a little submarine there, was headed right underneath the center, Phil Wing.
And it looks like he picked it up.
Now they get the official signal to move those chains. He had it by 2 feet to spare. And we talk about the playoff history of these two teams. Lincolnway East 6 times have been in the playoffs, all 6 of their years of their school's existence. Mount Carmel 23 years, the last 21 in succession. Ramus on the run. The ball sails on him, but it sails a little bit out of bounds, and that's the exact direction. If you trace a line from Ramus to that ball, it was the direction the wind is blowing, but a flag is down. It's an illegal block against Lincolnway East as we look here on the other end.
Very difficult for a right-handed quarterback to roll out to his left and get those shoulders turned upfield to make that throw. And he got flushed out of the pocket and obviously resulted in a clip of blocking below the waist, which is not allowed any longer in high school football. So this is going to be a big penalty against Lincolnway.
You start playing that field position game here. Back we go. This line of scrimmage will now become the 22, 23-yard line.
Well, when you start playing field position football and it results in this, then all of a sudden those special teams play a very, very big role in the outcome of the football game. Now that penalty is at the spot of the foul.
Out of bounds.
Well, that ball is walked now all the way back to the 10. Ooh, deepest hole that Lincolnway East has been in. They run a little draw play, and there's some room up the middle to the 22-yard line.
Good, safe play to run.
Draw to your fullback, Michael Betcher.
And actually, that was Mount Carmel probably knew they were going to do this. Just a great job of blocking here by the offensive line. You can see how they seal off the linebackers, but that's a good, smart play. You know, it gets back a piece, about 10 yards of that. You still have a long way to go. Second and about 20.
That's where we're sitting. They have to get to the 41-yard line.
Those kind of plays aren't on your game plan package.
Rolling to the left again is Ramus. And it will be third down and long.
Getting a lot of pressure upfield by the front three of Mount Carmel, Newcomb, Kennedy, and Bazemore. And again, when you want to put pressure on him, you want to put pressure on him and force him to run to his left. For right-handed quarterback, unless he's a tremendous athlete and you keep that pressure on him, you want him running to the left because you know he cannot be as accurate.
See what page of the playbook they turn to right here. 2:48, clock frozen here in the third quarter. Need about 19 yards.
Screen.
To the fullback. Betcher, can he get to the outside? He does, but it's not enough. He gets about 4 yards short of the first down.
But that was a great play. That was a great play because now they can punt the ball and put Mount Carmel in their own position. You can see right now it's just it's a middle screen of the fullback coming across.
Actually, it's Sebula, I believe.
And does a great job. He's not picking up the first down, but he's given Lincolnway an opportunity to punt Mount Carmel into poor field position.
Lynch with the wind at his back.
Good kick.
25-yard line is Brown, and he goes back another yard. Takes a big hit, and Mount Carmel will start from their own 25 against the wind. 2:31 to play here in the third quarter after the 38-yard kick by Tom Lynch. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll see if there's going to be some more points put on this scoreboard.
I'm going to grab a coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee. You want a coffee?
Coffee. Yeah, I'll take a coffee.
Coffee?
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee.
Over there.
Is this the line for coffee?
Yeah.
Coffee. Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
3 coffees.
Freshly ground, freshly brewed, and air quote free since 1950. America runs on Dunkin'.
Stop by Dunkin' Donuts today and try one of our 9 delicious coffee flavors.
Well, there was the field trip to the petting zoo. That's a fun way to learn about allergies. And then we had a sprained ankle from ice skating. And what's a slumber party without a chipped tooth? We've had a busy year. Luckily, Maggie's got health coverage to all kids. It's low cost or free, and it's good. And all uninsured kids in Illinois qualify, so you should check it out. Trust me, you're gonna need it. Hey, 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 Maggie!
There is your Griffin, and that may be one of the warmer outfits here tonight on a very cool November night here in Frankfort. Our stats man extraordinaire up in the booth with us, Dave Burks, and we've had 10 punts tonight. Dave informs me 9 of them have not been returned.
That's great coverage by special teams.
Go back on the late pitch. For one of the few times there's a little bit of room to the outside. We have not seen that much today is you keep coming back, Jack, to the assignments. Everybody has their assignments on that play.
Well, there was just a little breakdown there, and/or the possibility that the wide receiver made a nice block on the person that was responsible for the pitch. And this will happen when you have two great outstanding teams. Somebody's going to have a breakdown, and that will result in a big play. But this is how Mount Carmel runs the football. They just bang away, and all of a sudden they'll pop a big one. But usually Lincolnway does not give away the big plays.
Still, it's 5 yards on first down, and that pretty much qualifies as a big play here tonight. Looking deep, looking for Jarvis. Knocked away at the last moment. Great coverage on the play. Number 21 for Lincolnway East, batting it away. That's Nick Pecco. And without that hand on the ball, Jarvis takes it the distance.
A little play action fake here, and he's going up top, and he's going to his big receiver. And the interesting thing here is it's just a tad bit underthrown. It was a little wobbly coming in there, but it was pretty good coverage. And they look for the big play to keep you honest.
3rd down and 5. A lot of different ways the Caravan can go here.
I'm impressed with Carter Kopech's arm. I think he's got good mechanics and throws the ball very well for an option quarterback.
And he is an option quarterback here. His option is to carry it forward for 2 yards and come up 3 yards short from the first down. Well, we will get our 11th punt of the night, and this will be against the Wind. Newcomb's been hitting it about 30 yards. That's where Garrison stands, 30 yards downfield at his own 40.
You know, you've gone to extremes. Last night, you make the call in a game that it's just a racetrack game, and then tonight we go against two great teams that have great defenses, and it's just a battle of the trenches.
You know, a thought just came to my head. I will reveal. There's the block! Special teams play with the block.
Pick it up.
And it's still free at the 33-yard line. Well, you're waiting for the big play, and there it is.
We talked about turnovers in big games like this. In big games like this, a turnover is so very important. Now, with this big turnover, can Lincolnway East capitalize on it? They haven't had a lot of great opportunities. Mount Carmel thus far has had many more opportunities to score than Lincolnway. Here's their opportunity in a big turnover with 51 seconds left. Can they take advantage of it?
Take a look at this block punt.
Right up the gut. Right up the middle.
Marvin Cosby gets his hand on it, number 1. And there is the free ball that eventually lands Lincolnway East at the Mount Carmel 32-yard line. Trailing 7-3. Motion from Sebula. Pitch back this way. Hammond's a quarterback. He throws. It is nearly caught and then knocked away very nicely by Victor Alvarez.
I'm going to tell you something. He could have ran that in. He could have very well ran that in. He had a wall set up like a punt return. But the other thing, wow, does he have a cannon for an arm?
I was going to say, have you seen a wide receiver throw the ball like this? He is the backup quarterback.
Now, he is 6'5", 220, runs pretty well. But look at this thing. That's a rocket.
Boy, give credit that time to Alvarez for staying with this man. I mean, he just stayed with his assignment, or else that's 6.
That's excellent coverage, but that's the great defense that they're coached at Mount Carmel. Disciplined football. Throwing it up for grabs again. The safety's coming over the top.
And the East fans want pass interference. Hammond was searching for it himself. He's not going to get it. It's 3rd down and 10.
Well, the person that makes that play right there is the free safety, Victor Alvarez, because he's got single coverage so the ball's in the air, and then once the ball is thrown, the safety comes over the top right in here, and that is, in my book, could be pass interference.
Pretty close. Here it is again.
Let's take a look at the safety. Whacks him right there. So, you know, we have a chance to look at that a couple times. They don't down there. That was a bang-bang play. And these officials do a great job.
3rd and 10 at the very least. The Griffins want to put Lynch into a little bit more comfortable field goal position. Ramus has a man open.
Wide open.
And dropped at the 20-yard line. The ball was in his hands. It came out. Number 84, Steve Tepper, is going to remember that one.
Well, he is wide open for a first down, and I think that he just did not look the ball in, and there it is. That's a big play, a big first down.
And they're going to let Lynch tee this one up. He's counting the yards off, and this is going to be a 49-yard attempt for Tom Lynch. His long in the season is 45. Looking out of the hold of Sam Prankus.
Prankus made a great catch on the snap for the field goal prior to this.
Got it down. Lynch's kick is long, and it's good.
Wow.
49 yards out with room to spare for Tom Lynch, and he's made this a one-point game.
Well, he surpassed his longest field goal earlier of 45 yards, and that could have been a 55-yarder. I mean, that baby was really booted.
26 seconds left in the third quarter. He hit it hard, but he had the wind at his back. But the most important part of that is now the Griffins within a field goal of a potential win in the fourth quarter. Here's a look at it.
Tom Lynch, number 49, is going to kick it 49 yards, and there really is never a doubt. Right here from the right hash mark, right down the middle. I wish I could kick some of my 9-irons and my driver that well.
And that is a flashback to last year in the state championship game, a double overtime win by Lincolnway East over Maine South, where Lynch hit the ball into a strong wind, ended up missing a field goal at the end of regulation, but he had that ball hit very well, and that time he got himself drilled. 1 point difference. Let's go down to the sidelines.
Dave, a very interesting story. You know, Lynch, great field goal kicker. He was a starting sophomore linebacker. He joined the football team just so he could hit somebody. You gotta love a kid like that. He's one of the hardest workers in the weight room, and you really don't see that out of field goal kickers. Usually those guys wear the funny shoes, they're real skinny, they talk funny, but Lynch is an old-time football player, and he just loves to play the game of football. Back to you.
Well, you know, in some places they'd call that profiling. You know, kickers nowadays, they used to be a soccer player that you'd get out and come out and kick once in a while. Now, these kids, they just happen to kick that way, and they're pretty tough kids. Oftentimes they're a wide receiver or defensive back, but he is a great kicker.
This is going to put Mount Carmel at the 20-yard line once again. What a weapon that is. Clock does not move. We're sitting at 26 seconds. In a game like this, you say, well, it's up to the offenses to score some points here, but that's not the case. It's up to the defenses to put their offense in some type of position. A block punt leads to a field goal and a 1 point difference.
Well, these defenses on both sides have done an excellent job, and the field position has been back and forth. It'll be interesting to see at the end of the ball game the time parameter as far as time possession for either team.
Hopak on first down.
Great play.
Oh, you're talking about whether it be linemen, linebackers, or secondary people, everybody coming up big on the defensive side tonight.
That was an outstanding football play, and that was a difficult play because they flared the back, which oftentimes will bring that back up to make that coverage in the flat, but he stayed right there, and he came across with his right arm. His left hand was behind him. His right arm was across the ball and knocked it down just the way you coach it. Great job.
Number 11, Corey Davis, 6-foot senior. Mount Carmel faced with a second down and long. Very interesting score for the Caravan. This is the margin they lost to St. Rita. Their only loss of the season, late pitch. And some room to the outside, but end over end goes Brown. Wow.
Again, disciplined by the defense, coming up a little slow coming up on the pitch man, but when he comes up to make a tackle and a great hit. And that was a great job by the running back of keeping that ball from being fumbled. You can see right here, 44 coming up.
Ryan Weber.
Great hit.
That closes out our third quarter. Hang on, 12 minutes to play, and right now it's Mount Carmel by 1.
This country is who we are. This country is in our heart. For all you need, this country is here for you. This country knows what's real. They share just what I feel. They're here for you and me. This is our country.
Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. This isn't the right way to win. Neither is this. Using anabolic steroids, it's cheating. It's illegal, and it can end your life.
Make the right choice. Go to avoidsteroids.com to find out how. A message from the National Federation of High Schools with support from the NBA and NHL.
We have 12 minutes to decide who will be playing Wheaton Warrenville South for the 8A state championship game 1 week from today. Mount Carmel clinging to the 1-point lead. 13 points scored in this game. All 13 have been scored to the south. That's the end to your right. That's the direction the Caravan is heading right now. 3rd and long. Kopak to Newcomb. When you saw Kopak when he rolled to the left, and all of a sudden he felt that pressure coming from behind, had to rush a little bit, but he also saw a strong arm for Carter Kopak.
Carter Kopak is a very, very good athlete and an outstanding quarterback, and he could really play in any type of system. I mean, he is obviously well suited to the split veer back offense, which is an option kind of offense where you have to have the quarterback running the ball a lot, but he has shown me that he could be in other type of offenses where he can just drop back and throw the ball. He has an excellent arm, great feet, and makes very good decisions.
Now Newcomb's going to have the wind at his back. He had a 48-yarder with the wind in the first quarter when he had the wind at his back. I don't know if Gerritson's giving him enough respect right now, saying his 45 nearly blocked again. Line drive kick. Gerritson will have a swarm of white jerseys around him.
Good decision. Go down right there.
After a 37-yard punt and a 4-yard return, Lincolnway East to take over at the 44-yard line. And our stats recap is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards.
Time of possession right there. That's an interesting point. Looking at a 7-6 ball game with Mount Carmel doubling the time of possession. And that shows you that the Lincolnway East, when the going gets tough, has been tough. Stopping the Caravan down in the red zone.
You know, so many similarities between those type of numbers and the one game that Mount Carmel lost this year to St. Rita, a game much like this where the Caravan really dominated. They ended up turning the ball over at the 1-yard line of St. Rita early in that contest, eventually fell 7-6, and right now Lincolnway East is doing exactly what they did against Bolingbrook last week, hanging around, waiting for that big play.
Well, Mount Carmel also had a fumble and interception in that ball game, which gave St. Rita Mustangs an opportunity to win it. So there were turnovers in key situations for Mount Carmel in that game against St. Rita.
No gain, 2nd and 10. Gerritson split to the bottom of your screen. Amos looks his way. Not much. Got about half of the 10 yards they needed before the tackle made by Keith Lewis. Lewis had an early interception in this game.
Well, it's just a 3-step drop. The corner's playing way off. He takes 3 steps. He rifles out a curl route right here. And a good job of coming up on the 1-on-1 tackle by Keith Lewis, a 6-foot, 180-pound senior from Mount Carmel, but a nice gain of 5 yards for Lincolnway.
Ball at their own 49. They need 5. And they're going to have to wait.
Everybody's pointing fingers at everybody. Finger pointers.
And evidently Mount Carmel calls a timeout. So they didn't like what they saw here in 3rd and 5. That could be a very important timeout before this game finishes. And we have 10 minutes and 24 seconds before this game finishes. And we're going to go to this break right now.
You're not really up till you've had a McDonald's breakfast. And now any 2 McGriddle sandwiches are just $3.
No matter what the weekend project is, you'll find the right tools at Menards. This 18-volt 4-piece cordless combo kit from Coleman includes a recip saw, drill, circular saw, and flashlight, only $79.99. Finish projects faster and easier with a Coleman Power-Made air compressor. This 11-gallon model features a space-saving upright design and low-maintenance oilless pump, only $179. The right tools for the right price. Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hello, Chicago. You want some hot tender pork smothered with sauce, onions, and pickles? It was worth the wait, because McRib is back for $1.99.
And on 3rd down and 5, the Griffins have reinserted Blake Hammond at quarterback. 6'5" junior settles underneath center, Phil Wing. And he's going to run a quarterback draw. He needs 5 yards. He will come up well short on the play. Nice job coming up hard from his cornerback position, number 28, Keith Nunez. Also got help from free safety Victor Alvarez.
Kind of makes you wonder what caused that substitution.
Gain of 2. 4th and 3 coming up for the Griffins.
Now 3 yards to go for a first down on 4th down. Lynch will have to kick against the wind.
I'd rather kick against the wind from the 50-yard line than be kicking against the wind from the 10 or the 20.
And now some confusion from Mount Carmel.
A lot of confusion. They got too many people on the field.
They had their deep man back. That was Tim Brown. He counted the players in front of him and sprinted off the field to make sure they didn't pick up a penalty, because, and that's a great move by Brown, because if they get that penalty, that's a 5-yard walk-off, and that's a first down.
You know, it's almost to the point where both of these teams are so well coached that they just don't make mistakes. Now, that's a mistake in substitutions, but look how smart that player was to do that. And that tells you how well prepared both of these coaching staffs are for each other. I mean, they've disseminated this tape on each other, and they've worked out these game plans where they know each other so well that a big play is somebody's going to have to miss a tackle for something to happen here.
Well, even a situation like that, as we take a look at our coverage here on the IHSA TV network next week, we'll see 16 teams downstate that will be doing the same sort of thing. That's why they're there. But in that situation, in a big game, you have people not losing their head, players I'm talking about, staying with it and knowing their assignments and pulling it off.
Well, you know what's interesting is we look at the matchups on Friday and Saturday, and this is not a put down for obviously the smaller schools, but the larger schools have larger coaching staffs. I mean, obviously they're bigger programs because they have larger enrollments, but that's such a big difference when you have 8 or 10 coaches on the varsity level, for the most part almost coaching each individual position. That makes a big, big difference.
2 timeouts called in succession by Mount Carmel. They only have 1 left. Lincolnway East has 3. Lynch's kick is high and spiraling. And that's about as good as you're going to get here right now. Boy, he hit that one well.
Well, and the thing is, he hit it well, but it just took a bad turf bounce.
27 yards is all he will be credited for. He may have hit that one a little bit too high. Hang time he had. Yardage not as much, so with 10:08 to play. Mount Carmel looking for 1 sustained drive. You know, 1 sustained drive here takes that down and runs this game very, very short for Lincolnway East, who has had only 2 field goals here tonight.
Well, neither one of these teams obviously have been quick scorers. So it's a matter of controlling the ball and controlling the clock. And thus far, Mount Carmel's had the advantage in the clock situation.
1 touchdown of the night. Touchdown run by Ramirez. Short gain there.
Ramirez, the ball carrier.
You know, it's almost to the point now where, you know, you don't look to the yardage gained on a play. You look for the ball. Did it pop loose? Did it come free? Is it intercepted? It's been all defense here tonight. Spectacular performances by both these clubs. And my thought was, at one point, maybe at halftime, if they had just switched jerseys, we would have never known the difference.
Absolutely not. That's how the game has been played. It's so close to the vest from the standpoint of stats and field position and those type of things that it's just a mirror of each other.
Kopak slipped through 1 tackle. He gets to the 31-yard line. This is the final game being played here on this weekend. The Lincolnway East Griffins and the Mount Carmel Caravan playing this game at 7 o'clock. All the other games either played 1 game on Friday night. You saw that here last night on Channel 50. But here's a 5A semifinal game in Marion Central. 22-7 over Canelan. They'll play in the 5A state championship game. And the way it's looking at halftime, their opponents could be Sacred Heart Griffin, Springfield.
Canelan had a great year with Thorgerson at quarterbacks that set a lot of state passing records. And of course, his father Joe is the head coach of Canelan.
Caravan needs 3 yards. The pitch. Ramirez, he's got it and more. Across the 40-yard line.
Key to that play was the wide receiver making a great block on the cornerback and creating that alley. You can see right here, fakes the dive, brings in the outside linebacker, makes the pitch, but right now, look at that block. That's the key right there. Great block.
That was Kyle Parker on the carry, showed that good speed around the corner. Not only is that a first down and ball out to the 41-yard line, that will take a couple of more minutes off the clock on this series of downs. There you see your first downs. Only 13 first downs tonight.
Oftentimes, option teams get in a rhythm where things are going well and everything starts clicking. And that could be the case for Mount Carmel. Now they run the dive here and they pick up 3 yards.
And they're happy with that.
They're happy with that, and that's a tough 3 yards against this defense. Frank Lenti has shown great patience in this offense. I mean, he's done a great job with it for all the years that he's been at Mount Carmel, and the key to this offense is patience. You have to realize that you got to be happy with 3 to 4 yards.
To the air, complete, 2 yards short of the first down. Pat Jarvis again with the reception.
Nice throw, nice catch.
Big target, Jarvis, 6'4", 200-pounder. And here's your third down and short thanks to this completion.
Good setup, good throw. Right on a rope, good route. Comes up short about a yard, but is a good target at 6'4", going up against the 5'9" cornerback. So that's kind of a matchup that you want. Now, it's hard to say this, but now at this stage, these kind of plays are big plays. Every one of these plays are going to be big plays.
Needing 2 yards. Brown has it. First down, Caravan. And the ball comes loose late. And I believe Mount Carmel will retain possession. They do. And the clock stops momentarily. 6:56 to play, and a fresh set of downs for Mount Carmel.
That's a very safe play. It's just a dive off the option. You can see right here, it's just hard running, lowers his shoulders, good forward lean, good spin, and he does lose the ball, but they rule him down, and that's a very big play for Mount Carmel on that they were able to retain possession.
Into Lincolnway East territory. Kopech looking for 6. About 5 yards too much.
They're keeping Lincolnway on their heels when he goes to this throw. Now that was 10 yards overthrown, but still it makes the defensive backs play a little softer. They're not as desperate to come racing up on that option to get that pitch man. They're concerned about the deep threat.
Let's go down to Mike Cameron on the Mount Carmel sidelines. Mike?
Big momentum switch. As soon as it turned fourth quarter, Mount Carmel got all fired up, particularly the offensive line, which had been very, very frustrated in the third quarter on their 3 and outs. Big switch in momentum. Back to you, Dave.
Pass out here to Parker, gets through 1 tackle, gets to the 44-yard line. Well, there was a little extra incentive. That clock was at 10 minutes when this drive started. You got to believe those big horses up front said, okay, now it's our turn.
Well, this actually started out to look like it was going to be a bigger play than it ended up being because he was out there by himself, but a nice job right here of turning them back inside of the pursuit. And here comes all those blue jerseys making a nice play, which resulted in about a 3-yard gain, but initially it looked like it was going to be about a 33-yard gain.
How about this situation? 6 minutes left, 3rd down and 7. Lincolnway East fans on the near side on their feet. Quick snap to Kopech. Cross for a loss.
Wow.
He never saw it coming. John Olafson just wrapped his arms around Kopech, sends him down, and it is 4th down after the loss of 7 on the sack.
Here he comes right up the middle, number 45, John Olafson, 6'1", 230-pound all-area football player. What a great play at a crucial time. Great players make great plays in big games.
Lincolnway East has blocked 1 punt, set up one of their field goals.
And they've come after them, and that means that they either think the center's not getting it fast enough or the punter's taking too much time. Wow.
Newcomb lucky to get that away. Garrettson to let it roll. And the Caravan like the looks of that at about the 12-yard line with 4:57 to play. A 39-yard punt from Newcomb.
You know, they've been the last 3 punts that Mount Carmel has attempted. Lincolnway East has really put the pressure on them. Now, that can result in a little panic on the part of the punter, but it also can result in a first down if you got all those people coming and they end up rushing the punter. In a game like this, those kind of things can be crucial.
About 2 or 3 first downs that were crucial here to put the ball down in this territory and take about 5 minutes off the clock.
Well, that sack was mighty crucial right now. Now again, Lincolnway East, they've got to get the ball out of here, so even if they don't have a drive, that they can punt Mount Carmel down into the hole, because they don't want to give the ball up down here where they're in good field position. At this point, I'm more impressed with Kopak as a passer in Mount Carmel's passing game than the rushing game.
Ramus, tough throw, throws it right into the hands of the defender to the 10, inside the 10-yard line. The interception going to Kyler Kopak, and Mount Carmel in business.
Again, a very, very difficult throw for a right-handed quarterback, rolling to his left with pressure on. Throws it right into the linebacker, and we'll see. He's coming out right here. He has the fake. Comes back, he's right-handed, he's trying to turn his shoulders upfield, he's throwing on the run, he throws it right in to the linebacker. And that is a mighty, mighty big play right there. He threw it right at Kyler Kopak, the brother of the quarterback.
Third interception thrown by Andrew Ramus on the night. Mount Carmel has only turned the ball over once. 4:19 to play, 1st and goal, Caravan. Handoff up the middle and cut down very quickly on the play. It will be 2nd down and goal, but the clock will run.
That is a bang, bang play. They're just hoping to pop that dive. When you're this close to the end zone, you don't want to really be going east and west. You want to go north and south. And they want to keep control of that football right now.
Special thanks to the folks from Illini High Reach who provided our high-end zone aerial shots tonight. Chicagoland's High Reach Equipment Professionals. 2 locations in Lamont and East Dundee. 1-800-REACH-90 is how you can reach them. Lowell, Indiana's own Larry Workman, owner. 2nd down and goal.
And Lincolnway come up with a big stop. They're letting that clock run.
Kopak
got him wide open.
Touchdown! Mount Carmel to Ron Newcomb with 3:29 left. 13-6 is the lead.
Big, great play call by Frank Lenti. They faked the dive left, which drew the safety over to the left, and Newcomb was on the right side, and he just whirled around and made the throw to the tight end. Take a look at it here. He pulls the defense over with the fake to the left. Right there. The defense is pulled over. He comes back and throws to the tight end on the seam route. Wide open. Great call by Frank Lenti. Nice throw from Carter Kopak to Ron Newcomb. A big touchdown from Mount Carmel.
Now Saracen for the big extra point here. It's a 7-point difference right now. Saracen's kick will make it 8. 3:29 left. 14-6. The Griffins to tie. Need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion against the wind. Stay right there. This 8A semifinal just about ready to be decided.
I got to get up early. I got to be on time. If you go to work early and come home late, you're a Ford kind of guy.
It's Truck Month. We challenge you to find a better deal than on Ford's tough line of pickups.
Nobody else has a lineup of trucks like Ford.
Get $5,500 cash back on F-150 or choose 0% APR for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash only during Truck Month.
Because I'm built Ford tough.
The family member with the most to say will change every month. But with Singular's Family Talk, it doesn't matter. Get a big bundle of minutes to share, and months when you don't use them all, keep them with rollover. That's the fairest deal in wireless. Add a line for $9.99, plus buy an ultra-thin Samsung phone for $29.99 and get 3 free. only from Singular, raising the bar.
Great execution right here. The dive fake draws the linebackers and corner over. He throws it back to the tight end in the seam. Touchdown for Mount Carmel. Great execution by a high school football team and a great call by Frank Lenti down in the end zone.
Saracens with the ball in the end zone tonight. You will look to do the same here. And he will. Nearly sends it through the uprights. So Lincolnway East will have to go 80 yards for a potential game-tying score. Well, if you've struggled to get your 2 field goals here tonight, this is one tall order right now for the Griffins.
Well, the other part of that is these kids don't know what it is to lose. It's not in their vocabulary. They've never experienced that. They've been down before, so this is their opportunity to show what they're made of.
The senior class, 44-0. Quickly left side. Short completion for about 7 yards. The pass completed to Dan Fiorenza. And now East will have to hurry it up a little bit. We've had 20 points scored in this game. All 20 have been with the wind at the team's back. So not only is Lincolnway chasing an 8-point deficit, they're going against a pretty brisk breeze.
And they're going against a great defense. And, you know, a situation like this it's very difficult for Lincolnway East. They're not used to being in this situation, although they've been down twice in the playoffs, but not this late into the fourth quarter with only 3 minutes left on the clock.
Tyler Kopak was helped off the field for Mount Carmel. He had that interception moments ago. That's enough for a first down as long as he comes back across the 30-yard line, and it is a first down. We'll stop the clock for a moment. 3:02 to play.
Well, you really want your receivers to catch the ball and turn outside, not to the inside where all the help is. We'll take a look at this. It's a good 3-step drop, 1, 2, 3, and throw. Now, normally you want your receivers to turn out and run towards the sideline where they can get out of bounds or end up with one-on-one coverage. He turned to the inside.
Ramus on a deep drop. Has a man open, complete to midfield. This is Sebula. Sebula to the outside, and Lincolnway East is in Mount Carmel territory inside the 35.
Well,
they're not done.
They're not done. Dramatics build up before the game and now coming down near the end of the game. Great drop, great throw, but the route was well executed, and then yards after the catch right here. Here's a young man that does not want to lose, does not know how to lose, and maybe he won't.
35 yards on the completion. Another completion. Short gain to the 32.
Excellent coverage by Steve Filler, the inside linebacker from Mount Carmel, who some people say could be the top prospect in the state of Illinois next year, 6'3", 215 pounds.
Sebula on the short 4-yard completion from Ramus.
They've got a lot of time left on the clock, and they still have their timeouts.
Good protection. Complete at the 20.
First down.
And after all night of struggling to move the ball, here come the Griffins. Andy Garrettson pulls that one in. 13 yards on the completion. The chains will move. The defending state champions will not go down easily. 5 completions and 5 attempts for Ramus. And the Griffins will come sprinting off the field as Mount Carmel has chosen to use their final timeout of this half.
Well, a couple things are going on with Lincolnway right now. Obviously, they have to score, but then they're looking underneath that first sheet, that first offensive game sheet, to look at the 2-point plays that they have available for this particular Mount Carmel Caravan and the defense that they run on the goal line. This is a very, very interesting situation set up here. You know, we talked about it. Lincolnway East has never lost a ball game with this group of seniors, but they've been behind in the playoffs on 2 different occasions. And they're showing us right here the kind of character they have on this team, as well as the kind of coaching staff they have.
You have Griffins on one side. You have Caravan on the other. You have a Mount Carmel team looking to become the first team to play in 4 different classes for a state championship. 2 minutes, 13 seconds to play East with the ball inside the 20-yard line, trailing 14-6.
Remember on our opening we talked about Ramos has to have a good game throwing the ball. Well, all of a sudden now in this drive, he's having a good game. Oh, no flag? Yes,
there
sir.
It is. There was a hold out there. Everybody on the near side saw it.
Well, this is putting all the eggs in one basket here, putting it on Andrew Ramos, but now they're getting in a position where they're going to be able to go back to the running game. Now that they're in the red zone, they have enough time on the clock that they can go back to the running game. And, of course, you got to remember this. Down here, the field is shortened dramatically for the passing game. So there's a couple of different scenarios here.
Ball just inside the 10-yard line.
And I think Lincolnway would rather run the ball. And I'm sure the Caravan at this point, just based on what we've seen in this drive, would rather have him run the ball.
Jeff Grunwald's the fullback, right behind Raymond. Garrison to about the 5. They'll put him down at the 6.
Clock is still
running. He kept it winding.
Wow. Better get going, boys.
I don't know if they realize that. I don't know if they. I don't think the unit knows that the clock's moving.
Boy, that's a surprising. Apparently his knee went down before he bounced out.
At the 6-yard line. Looking for 6. Stretching is Sebula, not going to get there. He's a yard away.
Everybody in front of us is calling for a timeout. Timeout.
Here comes the big package coming in. You have Perkle, you have Olafson coming into this game.
Now they're back to the bread and butter right here. Just a power play off tackle with the wingback. And they're going to the bread and butter, and he's down to the 2-yard line with 1:17 left. And a timeout by Lincolnway.
That is their first timeout. It comes with 1:17 to play, and the Griffins have sent in Dan Giordano, 6'4", 220 pounds. They have sent in DJ Perkle, 6'1", 285 pounds.
The refrigerator Perkle. Going in at a running back. I don't think he'll handle the ball, but he's a devastating blocker, 285 pounds from the 2-yard line.
Let's go down to Lee Turnbow on the east sidelines. Lee?
Dave, I'm down here on the Lincolnway East sidelines. I'm walking the sidelines with the Lincolnway East offensive coaches. There is no panic in their game plan. They're watching the clock, wanted to be in the position. Right now they're putting in what's called their heavy package. So they're going to try to pound this ball in for the touchdown against the Caravan.
Here we go from the 1-yard line. It's 3rd down and goal.
3rd down and goal to go.
An 8-point difference. There's your timeout situation. Mount Carmel actually has used all 3 of their timeouts. They had to call one earlier. Here we go. Motion from Olafson. Handoff Sebula.
1-yard line.
This is 4th down. It is 4th down.
Timeout.
Clock running, now stopped at 1:06. The Griffins take their 2nd timeout, and how about your season coming down to this? 4th down and goal from inside the 1, trailing by 8 in the state semifinals.
Well, you know those people up front, that offense, their heavy offense is a balanced front with 2 tight ends. Both setbacks, which are the blocking backs, are both behind the guards with the tailback. So it's very difficult to figure out which direction they're going until they go in motion. Now, I'm sure off of that motion play they have a counter, but at this point with a yard to go, I don't think they want to run a counter. They want to get straight ahead. And so right now, Casey Luther, their left tackle, 200 pounds. Kyle Houlihan, 250-pound guard. Phil Wing, the center, 240. Blake Lucas, 250 to right guard. And Adam Geddes at 245. They're saying, Coach, just run it behind us. Run the ball in behind us. This is where their bread and butter is. This is what they've worked in the offseason for in that weight room. And it comes down to this. 44 straight wins. On a 4th and goal. Isn't that incredible? Absolutely incredible. They have never lost a football game, these seniors, in their high school career.
4th down and goal. To the big man, driving forward. Touchdown.
Got it.
DJ Perkle hammers it in with 60 seconds left in the game, and it comes to a 2-point conversion.
Wow.
An 80-yard drive in a little over 2 minutes when they needed it the most.
Well, there's big PJ right now. He's just coming right in behind that offensive line, behind that center, Phil Wing, and both guards, Houlihan and Lucas. So they're putting in 740 pounds that 285-pounder was running against. So I think they're going to have a little crease in that turf down there.
And now it's that page in the book, because you're talking about the 2-point conversion.
That's right. And this is so crucial. But you know what? This 2-point conversion is not a whole heck of a lot than what we just saw in that red zone in those plays. It's a matter of picking out the one that you think is going to be most effective, obviously, at this point.
That 80-yard drive, 70 yards coming in the air. DJ Perkle's 1-yard touchdown run. Now, the one thing with these two teams, they've not had to run 2-point conversions much, so you can't believe there's too much scouting that's been done on the different type of 2-point plays that their opponent has had. So you wonder how Mark Carmel's got to pretty much play it straight up.
Well, Mark Carmel's got to play it straight up, and Lincolnway East probably will also. I mean, they've got great faith in their offensive line and what they've done so far, the system that they have. Can they get 2 yards? Well, get in the state championship game? We're going to find out.
In their mind, they have to right now. 2-point conversion for the tie.
He's wide open.
The flip into the end zone, and it is intercepted. And the 2-point conversion will come up short. And Mount Carmel will hold on to the 2-point lead with 60 seconds to play.
Well, it was a well-conceived, well-designed play, but the delivery of the throw was just a little too late. He was wide open in the end zone right here. Reverse pivot, the little play fake. He's open right now. We just delivered a little too late. Both receivers were open. And you got to give Mount Carmel credit. They hustled to the football right now. That's just good reaction. The ball was just a little bit underthrown.
He was looking to DJ Perkle. He also had deep in the end zone Dan Giordano, the 2 big men. A personal foul against Lincolnway East on that last play. Actually, a couple of penalties going both ways.
A little frustration in the end zone, I believe.
Well, we're not done yet. There's an onside kick attempt about to be made.
An onside kick about to be made, and Lincolnway East has a great field goal kick. So,
he is
don't go anywhere.
Lynch is walking by himself. He is the only player on the field. He's ready to tee the ball up at around the 40-yard line. There's dejection on that sideline.
But you know, there's still plenty of time. It's not as if there's 3 seconds, 5 seconds left and they got to attempt an onside kick. There's plenty of time right now that if they do get this back, that they can still create a drive and get down there and make a play.
They have used some timeouts, however.
They have, but here's the other part of this. Nowadays, so many teams have so many different types of onside kicks where they shift, they overpower one side, and you actually run down the field and block personnel. It's not like everybody's going for the football. You're assigned certain people to block, and there's certain people who are assigned to go for the football. So it's a rehearsed and it's a practiced play.
And you're working here on the field turf, so you're going to get true hops as much as a football takes a true hop in this situation.
Well, you want it to take a short hop, 2 short ones, and then a big high one. So he'll kick on the upper third of the football to get that kind of a bounce. And I'm sure they practice that all the time out there.
Saw Lynch helmet slapping his teammates out there.
Got all the hands team in from Mount Carmel. They're all receivers, quarterbacks, running backs. All the hands team, all the kids that can catch the football.
1 minute to play.
See Lynch just sighting it up.
Everybody on your feet.
But I'll tell you what, that does not necessarily mean that's what he's going to do.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Who knows what's going to happen?
He was staring that down a long time. Still is. This one may be going the other way.
All we know is it has to go 10 yards. Okay, here's the shift. Everybody's assigned to pick off some of those guys in the front row, and a couple are assigned to pick the ball up. It's going to be short.
And it's handled, and Mount Carmel will have it. Boy, for a second there it was bobbled. But the Caravan will have it. The onside kick did not go the 10 yards. And now the Caravan from Mount Carmel in a wonderful situation for them to head the 8A title game.
You know, aside from the score, which has been a low-scoring game, this has been an outstanding football game. Well played, a lot of dramatics throughout the game. It certainly isn't what you had last night as far as the high-scoring dramatics, but we've had a different type of dynamic in this game. We really have.
People that have been with us for the last 2 evenings here in these high school semifinals have really gotten everything you would want out of high school football. And knowing the Lincoln Way is in a tough timeout situation, that's all Kopak has to do.
It's really hard to believe this will possibly be the first, well, at this point, I guess we could say the first loss for these seniors in this high school, which is just an incredible compliment to the staff and the players here in the program at Lincolnway East.
For the next 30 seconds, Lincolnway East still the 8A football champions. With a clean snap here, will guarantee a trophy will be going to somebody else. And the Mount Carmel Caravan will pour onto the field. They will head to the 8A state championship game where they will take on Wheaton Warrenville South tonight. 14-12 winners over Lincolnway East.
And a well-played game.
Well, these were two great high school football teams. So well coached. Great performance by both teams. The defenses were just absolutely outstanding.
And then when you had a team that needed a drive, by far the longest drive of the night, Lincolnway East dug deep, drove it 80 yards, Perkle from a yard out, and it all came down to the two-point conversion.
An astonishing 44-1.
Well, if you look back, you'll look back at turnovers. The final turnover, obviously on the two-point conversion, however, it was the interception down near the 15-yard line by Kyler Kopak that set up the second Mount Carmel touchdown. And that proves to be the difference here tonight. 14-12, the final.
It's kind of interesting how many times we said Kopak, and unfortunately, or for Lincolnway, it turned out to be on the defensive side of the ball and not the offensive Kopak.
Isn't that really how it's supposed to be, right, in a game like this? Let's take a look at the Chevy Drive of the game. Our Chevy Drive of the game brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers, and it culminates in that touchdown pass, the game-winning touchdown pass from Kopak to Newcomb. That's 6. That's a win. The Mount Carmel Caravan flag flying high tonight in Frankfort. Let's go down onto the field.
Thanks, Dave. Standing here with Carter Kopak, and tell me what you're thinking about. You're up 14-12, the two-point conversion. They go for it, and you guys make the play.
Yeah, I was thinking, the whole time this week we talk about trust each other, trust the coaches. They've been in so many games, and they've made a career winning these games, and we just had to listen to them and execute our game plan, and we struggled at times. Inconsistency definitely hurt us all night, but, we made plays when we had to, so we got to get a lot better for next week. Got a tough one next week again.
Lincolnway East defense, they're outstanding. You knew that points were going to be very hard to get tonight.
Yes, we knew that the whole time. We turned the ball over early. We didn't really want that. We were talking about ball security all week, and then we turned it over, so kind of went out the window. But like I said, we made plays when we had to, but, if we're going to win next week, we got to play a lot better because that Wheaton South is an incredible team with a lot of talent.
Congratulations. Go join your teammates. Guys, back up to you.
You talk about a heady quarterback. You can hear it right there in Kopak. The game is, all of 60 seconds old, and he's talking about next week for the state championship. We've got a lot more coming up here from Frankfort. Your 8A championship game is set. Wheaton Warrenville South punched their ticket in earlier today. And right here at Lincolnway East High School, Mount Carmel 14-12 winners over Lincolnway East. They'll be in Champaign as well.
No ding-a-ling, no ding-a-ling. Alarm clock catastrophe. This is not a good time for me. I'm as far behind as a human being can possibly be. Alarm clock catastrophe.
No time for a sit-down breakfast? Grab the new Dunkin' Donuts French Toast Twist. America runs on Dunkin'.
Stop by Dunkin' Donuts today and try a warm French toast twist and medium coffee.
It only happens once a year. The Chevy Red Tag event. With the best deals of the season. The price on the tag is the price you'll pay. Now, 07 Chevy vehicles from Avail to Corvette Z06 come with the GM 100,000-mile warranty. Combined with roadside assistance and courtesy transportation, it's the best coverage in America. See some red, save some green.
Log on now to ChevyDriveChicago.com. Check us out today.
Tonight's football game here on WPWR has been produced by Cost Broadcast Sales and IHSA Television. Any use or reproduction of the material contained in this broadcast without the express written consent of Cost Broadcast Sales and IHSA TV is strictly prohibited. And that's a bunch of young men that 1 year ago had a completely different look on their faces. Let's go down to Lee Turnbow once again. Lee.
Here with Arthur, you knew that the Yards were going to be tough tonight. This feeling of a state championship game tonight.
Oh, yeah. Lincolnway, they ranked #1 in the state, so we down for nobody. They wanted when they was down. They wanted the second half. So Coach Frank told us, like, when we get them down, we got to put the nail in the coffin.
Now you went to the state championship game last year. You lost. Tell me about the experience. That's got to be beneficial for you this week of practice.
Yes, definitely. We too big-headed going into the state game. But this year we came back real well. We're going to stay humble this week in practice.
Congratulations and great job. Good luck next weekend. Right. To you.
Again, everything is all about next weekend. The moment, the build-up for this very moment, and then all of a sudden the sights become set. But when you're at programs like Lincolnway East, Mount Carmel, and then last night with St. Rita and Providence, it's always about that final journey, the final step.
Well, one of the reasons for that is because of the type of leagues that they play in. Almost every week is a big game. Almost every week is a championship game. And I don't want to say that they become emotionally drained, but that develops character and integrity in these players, and they're used to this kind of competition week in and week out, and that turns into what we've seen down here with some of these interviews by these young men.
And our stats recap is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. These are your final numbers in a 14-12 Mount Carmel win. First downs hard to come by for the Griffins. I believe they picked up 3 of those first downs, if not 4, on the final drive of this game for them.
All of these stats are under their averages for everybody. The big key to me is Mount Carmel's time of possession. That's a major key, and of course that last drive by Lincolnway East to go down for that score was a great drive, but the key is that Mount Carmel kept the ball away from Lincolnway East. And again, both of these teams battle each other toe-to-toe because the statistics that we're looking at are nowhere near what their averages are for the season.
Let's take a look at the highlights in this game. 26 points put on the scoreboard as you see the Griffins make their way off the field. Here is your opening score of this game. The first touchdown of the game scored by Eric Ramirez on a 1-yard run and a 7-0 Mount Carmel lead. And then Tom Lynch came back, banged this one home with distance to spare, accuracy right down the middle. And Lincolnway East had cut it to 7-3 at the half. Andrew Ramus trying to loft it up into the end zone for a 2-point game-tying conversion, not to be, and never got to his intended receiver. And with that, our final score was at 14-12. This field goal by Lynch proved big because it put the Griffins in position at 7-6 to make that touchdown important. However, the game-winning touchdown from Kopak to Newcomb is the difference. And so for the first time in their career, Lincolnway East will walk off the field, the seniors, with a loss. Our second half scoring recap is brought to you by Baker Square. Visit Baker Square to make your Thanksgiving pie reservation tomorrow. And there is your scoring. A couple of field goals from Lynch. Newcomb had that 8-yard touchdown reception for that 14-6 lead before Lincolnway came back. DJ Perkle with the 1-yard touchdown run. The 2-point conversion, not good. And those 2 points will haunt Lincolnway East for a long time. But for Mount Carmel, those 2 points mean that they get to play for a state championship next week, a game that we will have right here for you on the IHSA TV network and specifically WPWR. You know, we're looking ahead, Jack, you know, to Wheaton Warrenville South and to Mount Carmel, and we've seen both of those teams, and we know that the folks who saw this game tonight will definitely want to come back and see that 8A game.
Well, you know, I had talked to you earlier in the week about the fact that I don't remember and I've been doing these games for over 20 years now, the championship games, where we had 4 teams in the semifinals in the 8A, where all 4 of those were quality state champion type of teams. And the matchups have been tremendous this year, and the end result is what we've seen in this semifinal weekend, up and down from 1A through 8A. By the way that we kind of changed the matchups earlier in the pairings, that it's resulted in these kinds of matchups, which has been incredible.
Just a few people left on the field. One of them is our Mike Cameron. Mike?
Okay. Frank, we got to try again. We had a problem earlier. Congratulations. You're going to be going to your 13th state champ, going for your 10th title. How are you feeling?
Right now, just awesome. I think our kids played tremendously. Our defense did great. They came there. Got to get consistent on offense in our kicking game. But to knock off the #1 team in the state in such a close football game and in such a great fashion with a great crowd is just a heck of an accomplishment for our kids.
2-point conversion try on their part, big juncture of the game.
Well, there's no about game. Their backs were to the ball. You know, they had momentum. They had good things going on. And fortunately, we're able to make the play for the 2-point conversion.
What do you foresee next week? Can you think about that right now?
Not really. I want to enjoy tonight. I won't even think about Wheaton-Warrenville South till hopefully tomorrow. And believe me, they deserve all the respect in the world because they have a great program and a great coaching staff. And it's been a long time since we played one another, but I'm sure we'll all draw on that past history, and it'll be a great game next week.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
So what was the game of the year here tonight? It'll become the game of the year next week when Mount Carmel will take on Wheaton-Warrenville South. You'll be able to get yourself all set with that at IHSA.org to get yourself all prepared for that game, see all the stats and all the numbers for that 8A matchup, a game we'll bring you right here on the IHSA TV network. There's your final score. It takes a long time if you're a Lincolnway East fan to leave this stadium for the last time this year.
When it comes to planning for the future, trust Country Insurance and Financial Services to keep you moving in the right direction. With down-to-earth, straightforward advice, Country Insurance and Financial Services is always there to keep you on the right path. Country, real answers for real financial security. For your family, for you, for a lifetime.
This is our country.
Need a truck? Call the red, white, and blue fleet from Elite Truck Rental. Elite's loaded with trucks in all sizes ready to serve you. Plus, at Elite Truck, your reservations are guaranteed, you're in and out fast, and you always get a great price. So for your moving day, your business, or a quick pickup, it's a call and you're done. For your Elite Truck and your free moving guide, call 312-942-1001.
Call Elite Truck, 942-1001.
Upwards of 10,000 people made their way to Frankfort tonight, and now they will exit. If they're Mount Carmel fans, they're thrilled. They've got another week to play. If they're Lincolnway East fans, they pat themselves on the back and say, you know what, we've had a great run. Let's go down to the field, check in with Lee Turnbow. Lee?
Thanks, Dave. Standing here with a very emotional John Olofsson. And John, it's a great ball game. It was just everything that everybody expected it to be.
Yeah, we came out and played. Obviously, we ended up a little bit short, which we're not too happy about, but I mean, they came out and played a great game, and I don't want to take anything away from those guys.
And tell me a little bit about the senior class. You guys been through 4 years. You're undefeated until tonight ball game. I mean, you leave a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and memories here when you walk out this field tonight.
It's just we love each other, and we play for each other. We have been, these 8,800 guys that we've got on this team, they're my best friends. I would do anything for these guys. I love them with all my heart. It's been that way since 3rd grade, since we've been playing each other since we were little kids. Obviously, this isn't the way we want to finish it, but I mean, after tonight, I'm sure I'm going to look back and have fond memories of my high school playing.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, let's go back upstairs to you.
What a classy kid. What just a class act to have such composure after such an emotional game that he just went through, 4-year career for him. And, you know, I'm just really impressed with a young man like that.
you know, is interesting because Jim Coburn and I walked out of Providence Catholic last night, and St. Rita players were filing out with their helmets off. And Jim turned to me, and I thought the very same thing when he said it. He said, you know, sometimes we forget they're just kids.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you think about that. We're interviewing a young man that's probably 17 years old that's played 4 years of high school football, never lost a ball game, and it comes down to the last play of his high school career, and he loses, and yet he can be interviewed on television, show that kind of composure, that kind of sportsmanship, in crediting the other team for what a great job they did. To me, that's a remarkable job by the young man.
Let's take a look at how this thing all plays out right now. Here you are in the 8A semifinals. Earlier today, Wheaton Warrenville South shutting out York 23-0. Of course, you just watched Mount Carmel defeat Lincolnway East 14-12, so that sets up our Wheaton Warrenville South Mount Carmel matchup 4 o'clock a week from today from Memorial Stadium in Champaign. That's your 8A matchup. And, of course, we will have 8 games for you in those 2 days down there in Champaign. 7A will match St. Rita versus Lake Zurich. We saw St. Rita last night, 34-31 winners in a thriller over Providence Catholic's. Lake Zurich got the best of Prospect today, 17-13. In Class 6A, Batavia ended up shutting out Geneva. Second time they've defeated Geneva this year, so it'll be the Bulldogs downstate, and they will face the Ironmen for Normal Community, 28-14 winners today over the Oak Forest Bengals. Marion Central will take on Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin. A couple of wins there for those two clubs over Canelan and Metamora in 5A. And all of these games seen on the IHSA TV network. Driscoll's going to try for number 6. 17-7 winners over Prairie Central. Breeze Minor Day in a low-scoring one. 7-0 Driscoll, Breeze Minor Day in Class 4A. In 3A, it will be St. Joe Ogden taking on Plano. Plano a huge win today over Bureau Valley, 49-7. And a 1-point squeaker for St. Joe over Anna Jonesboro. That will be your 3A semifinal. That will take place Friday night at 7 o'clock. In Class 2A, we start off our coverage on Friday with Maroa Forsyth versus Westfield. A 1-point win for Westfield and a blowout win for Maroa over Casey Westfield. All these games taking place today. The only game yesterday, by the way, was that Providence-St. Rita game. And then in Class 1A, we round out our 16 teams. Aledo to take on Tuscola. You're going to see a high-scoring Aledo team. 46-24 win today over Lexington, taking on Tuscola, their perfect record of 13-0, their win over Mount Olive. So there you are looking at what next week shapes up to be, once again, one of our favorite weekends of the entire year. Jack, we have been down there so many times. 8 games, 2 days, it goes quickly, but 8 champions are crowned. But before I get your comments, with that, let's go down and hear from our 2 sideline reporters, Mike Cameron and Lee Turnbow. Gentlemen.
Dave, thanks so much. And Mike, I don't know about you, but the emotions from the Lincolnway East sideline, the kids at the end of the game, you can just see the 4 years of hard work, the 44-0 since their freshman year. It just killed me to see that. You know, I felt so good for Mount Carmel, but I felt so bad for Lincolnway East.
That was poignant, just to witness that, and the fact that Olafson would have the composure to get on the air. That was very impressive. You know, speaking of emotion, you know, I went on the air and I said, there was a switch in how Mount Carmel came out in the 4th quarter. It was like the old expression, winning time. They got down to business and they made it happen when it counts. That's what I saw.
Dave, I tell you what, we just witnessed a great high school football game, and I think, fellas, this game was worthy of a state championship game, and I can't wait for next week, Mount Carmel, Wheaton Warrenville South. That should be a great one.
Well, thank goodness, Lee, we have to wait a week because I don't think we could go a 3rd night in a row after what we had last night with St. Rita and Providence going back and forth. This one completely lived up to his billing. And again, Jack, as I said, we've been down there so many times, but again, highly anticipated matchups downstate. Truly, as Lee said, this was worthy of a state championship game, but we're going to get 8 great games down there next week.
Well, we are, and just to focus, since we're on this venue of 8A, next week we're going to look at a player that some have compared statistically with Red Grange. And I say that only because he's gone to Wheaton High School, where the famous Red Grange from the University of Illinois went, the legendary Chicago Bear, and Durking. You know, he set all the state rushing records, all those type of things. So there's going to be a big hype about that. And he's just a great player. But we're going to be looking at, again, some great football games.
And you're going to get a chance to see 8 state championship games on the IHSA TV network. Please join us beginning Friday at 10 a.m. For Mike Cameron, Lee Turnbow, Jack McInerney, I'm Dave Bernhardt. Thanks for joining us all weekend long. We will see you in Champaign.
The IHSA football semifinals are brought to you in part by Chevy.